Hello everybody and welcome to another Wednesday night movie live stream. And as always, we're joined by Andy from Forgotten World of Movies.
Hi everyone.
And we've also got Mike as well.
Hi everyone.
And tonight we were supposed to have two guests, but unfortunately Katie from Poppin' the Popcorn couldn't make it. But hopefully we will have her on again soon. But we do have the other special guest, and it's a very special one indeed. It's BluJustin.
Hello, as they say.
Right, so how's everybody doing? Had a good day? Been busy?
Yeah.
Trying to avoid being busy in preparation for this, because it's my first time live.
Yep, it's your first ever time doing the live, but there's no need to be nervous. We'll have a fun time.
I'm sure we will.
Yep. So, my first and only question of the night is, what was the last film you watched? Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first, Andy?
Sure, yeah. The last sort of two things I remember, last thing I watched was I watched a film and I watched a TV show. So the last film I watched was Better Off Dead, because I recently picked it up on Blu-ray. It looks fantastic. Absolutely love that film. And the TV show I watched last was I watched the Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee show, which was something. Yeah, that's
good?
What yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
You see a lot, I assume.
You see a lot of both of them. Let's put it that way.
I'm not going to feel quite so embarrassed about my answer now.
Yeah, it's a show I want to watch, but probably not when the parents are about.
That second episode was just wow. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's good. So what about you, Mike? What was the last thing you watched?
The last thing I watched was Hostel for the first time last night. I don't know why I decided to watch it, but yeah. It was interesting.
Did you enjoy it?
It was okay. It was okay.
What about you, Justin? What was the last thing you watched?
Well, in actual fact, I probably wasn't actually going to mention it until the previous reply. But I did show it in my recent haul video. It's a movie called Skin Flicks, about a director trying to get out of his making blue movies for the mob. But in actual fact, if it was actually given to the BBFC now, they would rate it as a restricted movie. I don't know how it's okay to, they're happy to sell it on Amazon and this, that, and the other. It's probably because it does have some proper plot points and things, but there is some hardcore content. So don't get it unless you're going to be happy with that. But yeah, it was quite interesting in the sense that you got to see a little bit of the idea of what was actually the behind the scenes in this sort of movie from that sort of time, about the way these things were set up with the lighting and the props and all that sort of thing, and because it was essentially a blue movie about making blue movies. So
right,
so it's, in that way it was quite good, but I must say that the dialogue and the acting was as stilted as you might expect, which is was a bit of a shame, because I heard it was better than that. The one I'd like to admit and quite happy to say I watched was the one a little while back. I watched iRobot again, first time with your missus. I really enjoyed the film. I mean, it's a great book it's based on. I think there are a few too many coincidences and convenient things in there, but it has some fantastic action pieces and set pieces in there, and you can't go wrong with that. Will Smith is usually pretty good value for all the action movies he's in. So
definitely agree.
And TV wise, I've just finished watching series 4 of The Crown.
Ooh, that's good. Nice.
Yeah.
For me, oh, what did you want to say, Mike?
No, I'm sorry. I was finished. Sorry. I was just saying, go and say I enjoyed it. That's all.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard a lot of positive things about it.
Yeah, I hear reviews saying that it's some people's, from an outsider's point of view, it's very much possibly one of the best seasons that they've done. But at the same time, I have relatives who are there going, well, I really liked the first couple of seasons, but now they're bringing it up to date. It's getting a little bit close to like things I watched whilst I was, or things I experienced whilst it was in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So they're playing a little bit, maybe it affects people more when they're playing a little bit fast and loose with the truth, maybe, and trying to dramatize certain things they don't know, because obviously nobody's ever going to know all the stuff that went on behind closed doors.
No.
So, no, I thought it's still very, very good, and I'm really looking forward to season 5, and I'm really pleased to hear that they've changed their mind and they are going to do the season 6 to finish it off.
Oh, that's good. But yeah. And for me, I watched. Oh, what did I watch now? I kind of forgot now. I know on Saturday I watched a load of films. I did watch the new Resident Evil film. It wasn't very good. Conjuring 3, I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty decent. Watched last night in Soho again. I did watch Belfast this afternoon again, and honestly, I enjoyed it much more the second time around. I think it's a very good film.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely one to pick up when it comes out on Blu-ray, I think.
Yeah. Not one that's on my radar particularly, but yeah, Last Night in Soho is one that I'm really looking forward to watching, but I think from what Ray Leesby has said, it might scare me quite a lot, and I get a bit nervous of these things.
Yeah. But as it's your first time on the stream, Justin, why don't you tell people what your channel's about?
Thanks very much. I should have thought about this. Yeah, mostly I do a weekly video release that I do, and almost always gets released at 4:30 on a Monday afternoon. So after recording it on the Sunday, about the haul or videos that the Blu-rays that I bought that week. Most people do them monthly, but if I did that, it would last about 4 hours because I spend far too much money. But yeah, that's the main one that comes out. But I do really like to try and do other things like unboxings, throwing, and I've got a series that's in its infancy about books related to film, which I really want to carry on with. Now, not like books as in the story, just it's based on or anything, but like books about behind the scenes or
that'd be good.
What's going on, like with such and such a director, or which films to watch and things like that. But also, I want to mix up in there a few books that are, especially for the science fiction genre, work quite well. The ones that are sort of like set in the universe of the film, if you know what I mean, a bit like Star Wars or Star Trek, especially saying, oh, such and such a ship was created like this with this deck plan, and made sort of like in the year 2300s, like that was about 80 years ago, that sort of thing. So like all those fake Haynes manuals and stuff like that. I have done a couple of other ones. I really look forward to the challenges of like, put out there about the producer video on your top 10, this, that, and the others. And I want to try to see more of those if anybody ever lists me and puts me into one. And actually, that turned out last time. I think it was the movies that everyone else likes, but you haven't seen. I think that was my first one, but it became one of my most popular videos actually. So I was really pleased to do that. But, yeah.
That's good. But
The only really popular video that I've done is absolutely bonkers. I don't know why. I suspect YouTube had something to do with it, the way they fixed their recommendations or something.
Yeah,
I did. My second best unboxing or something it's got about 160 something, 170 odd watches or something like that. But the one for the Steelbook unboxing for Basic Instinct, for some reason,
good.
I think it's the UK one because I have a suspicion the US one might be slightly trimmed. I use the word advisedly. But yeah, for some reason that's got 1,600 or 700, and I still get people watching it 4 or 5 times a day. And I don't know what it is about that one that they're pushing, but I'm not complaining.
No, but yeah, if you like what you're hearing, then subscribe.
I'm certainly open to more ideas on what to put out if people are interested. If they want to comment on any of my videos to say, would it be possible to look at something like this? I'd love to take on board things from any of my subscribers or potential subscribers and see what they do.
Yeah,
and I might even reach the letter C in my collection. I did A and B about 2 years ago. I'm finally getting around to doing letter C soon, I hope.
But yeah,
I don't know why it's taking so long. It's just.
But yeah,
Sorry.
If you like what you're hearing, Justin's channel is in the description down below, so give him a subscription because he's got a lot of amazing videos all lined up. But yeah, we have got an absolute multi-ton of comments to get through, so let's get into it. Yeah. First up, we have Vince here, and he's saying hi. Hi, Vince. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Vince.
Hi, Vince.
We've also got Wesley here. Hello, my friend. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
We have Keeping It Friel here. Hey, do you like Doctor Who? Yeah, I do. Not that keen on the newer era, but I'm not going to say too much about it, or we'll be here all evening. What about you, Andy?
I was about to say almost exactly the same thing. If I go into detail about my personal experiences and feelings about the whole of the Doctor Who era, in fact, I've got every single DVD and Blu-ray I think that's ever been released of this and the other, because it's my favourite TV show of all time. I think you're right. We'd be here all night and nobody else would get a look in or be able to answer any other questions. So,
definitely. But yeah, what do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I like it. If I'm honest, I've not watched it recently because I've heard the show's had a massive dip in quality. But yeah, I think for me the Tennant era is like, that's like the apex for me of Doctor Who. Like that's the show at its best. The new era.
I agree.
But, yeah.
Yeah, the quality is dipped, literally fallen off a cliff. It's that bad. It's horrendous. What about you, Mike?
Nope, I've never ever watched it.
You never ever watched an episode? Wow.
I think I've seen one episode, and I think it was from I want to say the Christopher Eccleston era, and it was quite. I think it's quite a famous episode. Quite a creepy one. I just remember there's like kids with like gas masks on.
Oh, The Empty Child.
Yeah. That's the only episode I've seen.
Yeah, that was a very creepy episode. That's quite an iconic one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of episodes to get into, so it's really hard to pick and choose where to start.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Keeping It Real also says, what's your favourite Tom Hanks film? Do you want to go first, Andy?
Oh, that's probably the bog standard answer is Forrest Gump. You know, that's probably my favourite, if I'm honest. You know,
Castaway.
there's too many. Yeah, Castaway, Toy Story, Saving Private Ryan. There's too many, but probably out than Forrest Gump. Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Mine's probably Castaway. That's one of my favourite films.
I quite like that film where he was with Leonardo DiCaprio, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, it's a great one.
That's pretty good. What about you, Justin?
I think you mentioned a lot of them already. Not really into Forrest Gump, unlike most, though I do think I recognise it as a great film it is. It's just not one of those rewatch ones for me. What I do watch of these quite often. I haven't yet watched. I know Captain Phillips, which is one I want to watch. But I think probably the one I've most rewatched and I really do enjoy is the Apollo. Is it Apollo 13 one? Where Houston, they have a problem. Oh, that, even though you know, it's one of those ones where you know it's a great film and you know the acting's incredible, when even though you know what's going to happen next, you're still on the edge of your seat every single time.
Good pick. Keeping It Real's got loads of questions, but we'll do two more of theirs because they're quite interesting ones. DC or Marvel? That's a hard question.
Marvel. I grew up on Marvel, so and I think DC, until it was much later, tended to follow the much more simplistic route of this is good, this is bad, whereas Marvel was much earlier to introduce nuances of emotional backstories and things like that.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying DC hasn't done that since, but I think that's probably what got me first. Therefore, for me, it's going to be Marvel.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
The films are best, but I do like the DC animations better than the Marvel animations.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of like the DC characters more than the Marvel ones, but what Marvel has done with the whole cinematic universe, I think, is nothing short of a miracle. That is a massive achievement. That whole project that's been helmed by Kevin Feige, and just what he's done with that is absolutely incredible, considering as well Marvel's at a handicap because Marvel doesn't own all the rights to its characters, whereas DC does. And yet DC can't really, they've never really sort of managed to emulate what Marvel have done in terms of movies for me. They've never created a decent universe that I've been truly invested in, whereas Marvel has, and, you know, with limited access to characters as well, is something truly remarkable. It's a hard question, but yeah.
It is. What about you, Mike?
I'm probably going to go with DC just because DC has Batman and Superman, who are my two favorite superheroes. I'd say Marvel has the more recognizable and more popular superheroes than DC, but just because of Batman and Superman, I'd have to give it to DC just because I prefer them.
Yeah, that's good. See, if we say like Marvel and DC as a whole, it's really hard. If you say comics, people are going to say different. If you say animated films, I would say DC definitely. Like live action films, gotta be Marvel, and like with other stuff. So it is a hard question, but I'll probably just say Marvel. And the final question from Keep Creeping It Real or Frill: what one film would you want to save from getting a remake?
Back to the Future.
That is a good shout.
They're doing that one, aren't they?
I hope not.
I
hope not.
I heard that they were thinking of remaking that, and definitely, probably they toned down the potential incest ratio.
I understand that. I understand that. Yeah, but
yeah.
Apart from that, for me, it's a perfect trilogy. It's the best trilogy ever, in my opinion.
It is incredible, and it's also the one time that I bought my wife the trilogy steel books, and for the first time ever, I actually had my wife turn around and said, "Actually, steel books are really nice when they feel this good." I actually understood why I spent all my money on them. So that was a double bonus for me.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But yeah, because I've got all the pictures lined up so brilliantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I'm not too sure. I'd probably say any film, because I'm not really the biggest fan of remakes.
Yeah.
Don't really see the point in them, so I'd rather not see anything get remade.
That's true. What about you, Justin?
I think if we're going to have to choose one, it'll probably be something that, it's got to be my favourite film, because you just don't think they can be topped from the originals. And I would say, in that case, Blade Runner. Anybody tries to remake Blade Runner, it's just not happening, is it?
No.
Wrong. They just should be taken outside and told no.
That's true.
I mean,
for
I
me,
they actually did a very good job with the follow-up, considering I thought they were just going to turn it into an action movie, whereas they actually did at least try to keep some intelligence and that in the plot.
Oh, that's good.
But, yeah, don't remake the original, please, please, please.
But yeah, for me, I'll probably agree with Andy. Back to the Future, but any really film from the 80s, I would say, just leave it. But especially Disney. Please, Disney, if you're watching, leave the stuff alone. Don't remake stuff anymore. You've done a bad enough job with Home Alone.
Well, I'm really glad to have missed that remake.
Same.
Yeah. Niles is here. Hey guys, thanks for joining, Niles. Hope you're well.
Yes.
We've got Edward here. Evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Have you ever turned up late to a movie you wanted to see and you missed the start?
Yes. Really. I went all the way up to London to the Odeon Leicester Square very, very long time ago, when the screens were still huge and they had hundreds of people in there and this, that, and the other. But yeah, I unfortunately was held up outside or on the way on the train or something, and I missed the beginning of Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the intro.
All right.
Cartoon sequences and stuff about the baby who's was very adult.
Yeah, Baby
Yeah.
Sherman. Yeah.
What about you, Andy?
I missed the start of Knives Out when I went to see that. I missed the start of Land of the Dead when I went to see that at the cinema. I've rectified that now, though. But a lot of stuff on TV as well that I've missed the start of. Like, there was a lot of movies growing up as a kid that I never knew what they were called, but I knew the movie if I saw it. Like, I never knew what The Goonies was called, but I always recognized the end of it because of the pirate ship sequence and just how fun that movie was. Yeah, same with Last Action Hero. I grew up watching that and I had no idea what that movie was called. Yeah, just that movie's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Mike?
I think people put it down too much. It deliberately takes the mickey out of the whole of the genre in itself, and I think sort of like that goes over some people's heads sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I don't think I've ever missed the start of a film, not that I can recall. Yeah, I think I've always been on time for them.
That's good. Me, the 3 or 4 times I've been to a cinema, I've been there on time. Again, like Andy, it's probably just watching films on TV and normally getting to the end. I remember Empire Strikes Back. I ended up watching the final 10 minutes of that one, or like some other iconic films. It's just like, oh, what's that film? Oh, I don't know. But yeah. Edward says, saw the Spider-Man last week, and it was as good as you all said it was. Loved it. Went with my dad. He enjoyed it too. Yeah, it's a fantastic film. One of probably up there top 3. Definitely no spoilers. We ain't going to spoil it. Don't worry. But you're in for a treat whenever you get to watch it. Don't you agree?
I really wanted to get to see it, but I didn't get the chance, unfortunately, for various reasons. But I think have they finally now actually told us what date they're going to release the 4K and the Blu-ray?
There's no date yet.
No.
I'm still not sure anything's official, but I
there's
think there are
rumours of April.
May.
Rumours of April.
Yeah, that's close.
Seem about right.
Yeah,
I mean, when you look at the release date of the film, that certainly would make sense, and the fact that films that have been released since then have actually had their release date on Blu-ray announced. This one seems to be a real one they're keeping in their pockets for some reason.
It's because it's doing so well in the box office, because they don't want to take it away from the box office yet, because it's still making loads of money.
100% makes sense. Yeah.
As long as we ain't got to wait a year for it to come out on Blu-ray, I don't mind.
As long as it doesn't get spoiled for me, and I have worked so hard not to find out all the things that I've been told.
Well, if you go in there without not being spoiled, I am very jealous of you. You are a very lucky man.
I'm going to try. I'm still trying, and so far so good. So anybody who puts anything on my channel, I will be blocking them.
Next up, we've got Alan here. Hi, everyone. Hey, Alan. Great to see you back.
Hi, Alan.
Hi, Alan. Yeah. Okay, mate.
He also says, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel? Who wants to go first?
Easy one. And it's going to sound a bit sycophantic, but in actual fact, it was watching Alan's output. A lot of what was made me actually want to start my own channel. Him and Big Paulie were the 2 people I watched and went, well, I could have a go at that, and it sounds like fun. because they seem to be really enjoying it, and I hope to be able to do the same. That was essentially it. All I did, I think the only thing that held me back for a little while was the fact that I was there going, "Gosh, I'm quite an emotional and sensitive person, and I'm going to have to grow a thick skin just because I know that, if you put yourself out there on the internet, things can get a bit heated."
Yeah.
So I've just got to
definitely.
learn. I've got to learn that if something like that happens, and like I said earlier, I think luckily it hasn't been too bad for me. But if something like that happens, I've got to just not let it get to me.
Definitely.
But, and I haven't regretted it for a moment.
That's good. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, just probably watching a lot of people's channels and stuff like that for a very long time. And it was something I always wanted to do, but I just kept putting it off. I was just like, no, I don't really want to do it. I don't really want to be on camera. There's things about it I wanted to take further, and things about it I didn't. But I completely now regret not doing it sooner. That is the biggest regret I have, is just not doing it sooner, because I've loved it every minute of it. There's been bad moments, and but they've been outweighed by the good moments.
Totally agree.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just something I've always wanted to do, and I think it was just biting the bullet at the right time, I think. Yeah,
I agree. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, pretty similar to Andy, really. Like, I'd been watching people for a while, from quite a few years on YouTube, and it was always something I wanted to do. It wasn't really until JT started his channel, because obviously me and him are quite old friends. So once he started doing it, I thought, oh, I could have a go at that. But then I just never got round to it. And then Andy started doing it, another old friend of mine, and I just thought, I've definitely got to do it if these guys are doing it. But I still never got round to it, and eventually I did. And yeah, here I am now.
That's great. For me, well, I started like probably about 5 or 6 years ago, just doing like video games, and again, I was behind the camera just doing like voiceovers for reviews, and then I just like got into like watching like Blu-ray hunts and all that, like Kermit and Big Paulie, and I thought, you know what, let's just try it. And then honestly, it's been a lot of fun ever since. Met some amazing people and some great friends.
Yeah, same.
Matt says, what did you think of the Oscar nominations?
Ooh. Pretty much what I expected. I was surprised that Tick Tick Boom wasn't in the Best Picture nominations.
Yeah, I was.
It's not, I mean, it's not a film I'd maybe expect to win, but I would have at least expected it to have been nominated.
Yeah, I'm glad Garfield's up for Best Actor, though. At least, at least that's deserved. But there was the one movie I would not have put in Best Picture would be Don't Look Up. That movie does not deserve to be nominated for Best Picture in the slightest. No. It's not worthy of it. It really isn't, in my opinion. No. It just it doesn't warrant the nomination in the slightest at all. There's only a handful of movies that I've seen that are nominated. I think June's one of them.
Got quite a few, I think, about 7 nominations.
Yeah, I'm yet to see Coda. I think King Richard's in there.
Will Smith's up for Best Actor. I think he is going to win it, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm surprised Mass has not had anything, because that film's spectacular.
Yeah, because you said that's very good, and I think what's his name? Chris Stuckman said it's really good.
Yeah. Mass. It's phenomenal. Mass. Yeah. I'm yet to see Spencer as well because I've heard that's got a lot of buzz. I think Kristen Stewart's up for Best Actress.
Have you seen Power of the Dog? Because that's the one that's leading the nominations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that film. It's a lot better than Don't Look Up. With the dog. But I don't think that'll win.
No.
I think it'll be it's a very bog standard, that movie for me. It was good, but it wasn't great.
I have heard a lot of mixed things. Some people seem to love it. Some people say it's really a drag and a bore.
Yeah, I can understand both sides to the coin with that movie. But yeah, I'm surprised that No Way Home hasn't been thrown in. Actually, considering
that's what I was thinking.
Considering when Black Panther came out, that had a lot of Oscar buzz. That was nominated for Best Picture, and No Way Home deserved to be in the nominations for Best Picture if Don't Look Up's got in there. If I'm honest.
Yeah, that's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio and all them on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah. That movie's strong point is its cast, but the film just didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
It's not a horrible movie. It's not a train wreck, but nominated for Best Picture? No, sorry, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Next up, we've got. Oh, what? Pam?
I was just going to say the one thing that really, a couple of things that really surprised me is potentially like the change in the rules over the years, but more the fact that June is really part one of. I mean, they're even calling it. I know it's the Internet Movie Database, and you can't rely on it for everything, but they're even actually saying that it's actually called June Part One now. No, that's not what they put it out at cinema. But with Lord of the Rings, for example, they knew it was a trilogy, and they didn't put any of them forward until the Best Picture or any of the other type awards until the final one, where they just nominated it for absolutely everything and it practically cleared the board. Because I think they didn't want it a case of each movie was taking lots and lots of awards for years in a row, for example, even though everybody knew they were exceptional movies. So I'm very surprised that June has been put forward like right now. I was expecting them to go, well, we'll put forward part two when it's out and has completed the story.
I think it's mainly to do because there wasn't a lot of titles released last year, and also probably opinions have changed from like 20 years ago.
Yeah. And of course, the other thing that's confused me or whatever is because I do know that it used to be in the rules for Oscar nominations that you could not be an Oscar nominated film if you were not put out at cinema before being put out on TV. So Netflix stuff or whatever wouldn't even be possible to nominate.
There was talks about that a while ago, but I think because like with the lockdown and like a lot of films just going straight to streaming now, it's the way that things are changing. So probably like in 5 years' time, it will be the new norm, I would assume, or maybe we'll have a different sort of award show.
Right. But I just remember seeing that The Last Seduction, actually one of my favourite films, went out as a TV movie and was a massive hit, and then they put it out at the cinema, and everybody suddenly realised, it was a great cinematic piece with Linda Fiorentino, in the lead, and they wanted to have it not Oscar nominated, but because it had come out on the TV before it had gone out at the cinema, it was banned from being nominated. And nowadays, of course, that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, of course, just how, I mean, obviously the world has to change, especially with the way COVID has affected film releases over the last couple of years. Otherwise, there wouldn't be the ability to nominate half the films that deserved it because they had to come out on streaming first. Not that I'm a big fan of streaming, but I do fully understand why these things have to happen.
Yeah. We've got Adam here. Hey everyone. Hey Adam, thanks for joining. We've got David here. Hey David. Hi Kermit's Ghost. Great to see you back on YouTube, mate. Totally is. Got hordes of comments to get through, so I'm going to try and get through them quite quickly. We've got Matt here saying evening. Evening, Matt. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Matt.
We've got Rob here. Hello, guys. Hope things are well with you all. Thanks, Rob, for joining. David also saying, hi, guys. This is going to be a good evening. It certainly is, David. Thanks for joining. We've got Jules here. Hi, you're a wonderful lot. When are we having my mate, Wonderful Dudley, on? Ooh. Charlatella, he should hopefully be coming on end of the month. Yeah. So that'll be great to have him back on the stream. David said, hi, Rob Fetzbounty. Just saying how great his videos are. And Matt saying how good the stream was. Totally agree. Matt says, watched Shang-Chi last night for the first time. Enjoyed it. Preferred it over the Eternals. Yeah, the Shang-Chi's just a lot of fun. I haven't seen the Eternals yet. I've heard some people really love it and some people say it's a complete bore, and I'm very unsure what to say, but Shang-Chi, loved it. What about you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. Shang-Chi was far superior than Eternals. Eternals in it for me had way too many characters that I just didn't really give a toss about. There's just too much going on in that movie. Too many characters. You don't really care about really any of them. There's only really one of them I remember the name of. It's too over bloated. It's trying to do too much, and it doesn't work as a movie. It would have worked a lot better as a TV show, I think.
That sounds about right.
Room to breathe, and maybe dedicate an episode to each character. But yeah, overall, Shang-Chi was just visually, it was great. Shang-Chi, it was fantastic. The set pieces in it were great. The story was good, and just had a good time. The
choreography was great. I thought just awesome. Love it. What about you, Mike?
I've still not seen either of them. Shang-Chi sounds like the more interesting one. So I probably will watch that one at some point, but I'm not really in a rush to watch Eternals from what I've heard about it.
Yeah. What about you, Justin?
I'm afraid I'm in the same situation as Mike. I haven't actually seen them both. But my general opinion is that I like the idea that Marvel is making a little bit of effort to not just go, oh, these are the ones that are successful. We're just going to keep on pumping movie after movie with Captain America and Iron Man out because we know you'll watch it.
They're taking risks.
At least they're being a little bit brave and going down the route of stuff that a lot of people, including me, have not heard about with Shang-Chi and the Eternals. So I certainly have heard of people who love the Eternals and hated Shang-Chi and vice versa. So I'm really looking forward to finding out which way my preferences are going to fall when I get to see them.
Yeah.
So they're both on the shelf waiting for some time for me.
Awesome. Right. Matt says the last episode of Book of Boba Fett was good. Looking forward to Mandalorian Season 3. I haven't seen the Book of Boba Fett yet, but I'm hoping now, because it's completely finished now, hasn't it? I'm going to probably try and binge watch it over the weekends, because I've heard it gets better as the series goes along. Have you guys been watching Boba Fett?
I checked out of it after episode 3. I didn't even finish it, but I am going to go back to it at some point. Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, no, I haven't watched it yet. I'll probably read up about what people have thought of it before I check it out. And if people say it gets better, then yeah, I'll probably give it a go at some point.
Justin?
I hear that episodes 5 and 6, the last couple for Boba Fett, were the ones that everybody loved, which is odd considering everyone points out that he was in it the least for those. But generally speaking, I'm afraid I am very much behind on that sort of thing because I'm desperately trying, though I know I'm in the vast minority and I'm almost cutting off my nose to spite my face, to not pay out for to streaming companies that won't put things out on Blu-ray or physical at all.
Yeah.
So I generally, I won't. The only time I've ever paid out is to catch the last couple of episodes of Game of Thrones because I didn't want to be spoiled for it. But generally speaking, I have got the option to watch the Amazon Prime stuff, but that's only as a side effect of the fact that I'm paying them to deliver my stuff next day. So
yeah,
I don't have Netflix, I don't have Disney Plus, this, that, and the other. I want to own it and hold it in my hands, and
I agree.
I don't like the fact that they won't release it to try and force you to subscribe because everybody says it's so good, and you feel you're missing out if you don't.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully now with Disney have greenlit the Beatles Get Back to come out on Blu-ray, so hopefully that's the start of stuff trickling out.
I can only hope. I can really only hope. I mean, the big thing with the Disney Plus stuff for me was when they took back, for example, some of the Marvel characters like Daredevil was it from Netflix?
Yeah, all the Netflix characters being brought up by Marvel to be put into the MCU.
Yeah, but the point is they put them out into they showed series 3 on Netflix, but Disney was so protective, and they said, "Oh, this doesn't fit our idea of younger viewer friendly type thing." They won't even put it up on their channel, and they won't release it on physical. So if you didn't see it on the original showing Netflix, then one might say you're rather pushed towards a direction that is slightly immoral, but whose fault is that?
Yeah, but anyway, we're going to move on because we're about 45 minutes behind on the comments, so we've got a lot to get through. Yeah. We've got James here, Jim Jam Movies and TV. Hi guys, hope you're well. Thought I'd sneak on and say hello. Hey James, hope you're doing well, mate. Yeah, definitely looking forward to having you back on the stream in a couple of weeks' time. You've been missed. We've got Lisa Loves here. Hey guys, hope you're well. Thanks for joining, Lisa. Hope you're doing well as well.
Lisa.
Kermit saying hi, Lisa. And Matt H says, are any of you guys going to see Death on the Nile this week?
I might do.
Haven't. Yeah, it looks good. I kind of wasn't keen at first, but I'm kind of intrigued a bit. I haven't seen Murder on the Orient Express, but I kind of want to give that a go.
It's okay. It's okay, Murder on the Orient Express. It's nothing special. It's just it's fine. It's not Kenneth Branagh's best.
No, I agree. It wasn't Kenneth Branagh at his most talented or
No.
brilliant, but I did enjoy Murder on the Orient Express, and I picked it up at the same time as I picked up the original, so I could compare them.
Yeah, it looks to be like a very standard, like whodunit sort of Sunday afternoon sort of film.
Yeah, I'm getting that feeling too.
Mm.
That's not to say I won't pick it up and I won't enjoy watching it, but I don't think I'm going to be. That's the thing that's going to drive me to go back to the cinema and catch the train and get them down there and that sort of thing. But,
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I didn't have much desire, but after seeing the trailer, I actually think it looks pretty decent. So, yeah, I might give it a go.
Yeah, the casting's quite good. You got not Michelle Pfeiffer in it, Gal Gadot in it.
Yep.
Which is quite good. You've also got, am I thinking Dawn French is in it as well?
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah.
I think Russell Brand's in it as well.
Russell Brand is definitely in it, and he hasn't been seen in a film for quite a little while, hasn't he?
He's getting to the Greek, I think, the last one.
yeah.
Yeah. He did Arthur. I can remember that. That was certainly something.
One just interesting how Gal Gadot and Michelle Pfeiffer got confused in your mind there for a moment.
I think it's to do with the next comment. Because Jules says, "Who's that guy?" Oh, sorry, that was Grease 2. Pete fancies it. I wonder why. Yeah, she sold me on it because of Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah. Oh, was it Michelle Pfeiffer in Grease 2, or was it her sister?
It's Michelle.
Yeah, I think everybody said it was Michelle, but
I'm not
Jill.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah, I've heard some people prefer it.
Quite a few people preferred it. I noticed that, but yeah, I'll have to give it a go eventually. Matt says, just seen The Kingsman has dropped on Disney Plus to stream very fast. Disney can watch it in 4K as well as releasing times getting shorter and shorter. Yeah, it just like released just after Christmas. But again, like with The Matrix, the biggest problem, probably why it didn't do well at the box office, was A, because it was delayed so many times, and B, because it was released right next to Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, this got released after Spider-Man, didn't it? And yet the physicals coming before Spider-Man.
Yes, Disney. Disney seems to have a really short window now of releasing, like 2 months.
Yeah.
I know with like Free Guy, it was like 2 months to the day. It was the 13th of August, and it was released on the 13th of October.
Yeah.
I think if it's their own movie and they want to promote their own streaming channel, they're very forgiving of that sort of thing.
And this is just like, and this is, dare I say it, some of the trail ends of 20th Century Fox, the takeover. So they want to probably get this all pumped out so they can have their fresh new stuff ready to line up for the next year.
Yeah.
But have you guys seen The Kingsman? What do you think of it?
I've not seen it.
You've not seen it?
Not seen it. No.
Not seen it, but I am really looking forward to it. The big thing that's really annoying me is, as anybody who's ever watched my channel will know, I'm a huge fan of steelbooks. The cover of the steelbook is quite not particularly inspired, shall we say. But the big annoyance for me is the fact that if you look at the American releases, they've got the same cover, but they're also re-releasing the first two with matching covers on their steelbooks in the exact same style, with the same like torso with the different coloured ribbons across, and that's the thing.
Oh, with the suit sort of thing.
When you see them together, it all makes sense. But if you see like this one by itself, it stands out as a bit of a sore thumb, which is a bit of a shame. cover-wise. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie because that was the Kingsman itself was one of the few that I went to my local cinema with my wife, and they got the whole big red carpet deal going where they showed it at my local cinema at the same time as it was being that the premiere was coming out in London, so it was like a nationwide premiere at the same time.
Yeah,
so I've always had a bit
cool.
of a soft spot for Kingsman movies.
Yeah. We've got AJ here. Hey everyone. Hey AJ, hope you're doing well, mate.
Hi, Jay.
We've got Matt H here saying, do you collect movie posters?
Short answer, no.
I have some about, but I don't really use them, and most of them are folded, and I hate folded posters.
They're okay when you put them in frames. Most of the posters I've got hung up are all folded. Most of them have come from like Arrow limited edition box set types. But yeah, when you put them in a frame, they don't look too bad. You can't really see the creases. I do like getting posters, but I've literally run out of space to hang them up. So yeah, I've kind of stopped now.
Oh, thanks for the tip. I'll try that out.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I didn't actually never thought of that. So yeah, we've got quite a few extra frames, so I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah, they look fine in the frames.
That's good. What about you, Justin?
Never really gone for the movie posters though. So I love the idea, but I think the problem is what I would want to do is to actually get the originals that the theatres used to get rid of at the end of a run and stuff like that. And if you got to know the team that worked there or the manager, then he just goes like, "Well, there you go. There's the poster that we've had up for the last 3 weeks." And it's a proper original advertising poster, and you really feel that that's really cool. But now with all the electronic advertising boards, I don't think they get hardly any physical posters that you can collect anymore. So it's not something that I've ever got into. The only ones that I appreciate it, I like you. I don't like folds in them and things. So what I did really appreciate is people like the company that's just been taken over by Zavi.
The Hut?
Blu-ray. The Blue. The ones that did their specials for the Cornetto trilogy and sort of that. Sorry, but yeah, they used to send out their posters in a rolled up tube in the same like package as the main one, all protected, so you didn't get any creasing or folding, which I thought was absolutely excellent.
Yeah, that's the best way to send them off. Matt says he's just subbed to your channel, and he says you got great content.
Thank you very much. He's talking to me.
David says, how many Blu-rays do you own in your collection, and what's your favourite Disney movie and Pixar movie?
Just in case it came up. Oh gosh, number of Blu-rays, including 4K, is I think it's around the 1,500 mark.
That's a good selection.
On top of that, I've got another 1,500 to 2,500 DVDs, but mostly that stuff which is TV shows, which is never going to be on Blu-ray because it was only ever shot in video from the 70s, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Or it's just so niche that they just know they won't make their money back if they do release it on Blu-ray. So, however, I'm starting to think I better try to get some shelf space back by putting these, maybe just the covers into storage, and because I do like the whole thing of physical things and holding them, or whatever. But I've actually, for the first time ever, I've bought some boxes with separate sleeves, so I can actually store away like a few hundred DVDs and save myself a lot of shelf space that way, and dedicate the shelving that I do have to the Blu-rays.
Yeah, I agree. So, what's your favourite Disney and Pixar film, Justin?
I think I've got to go with the one I've watched most often, which would be Shrek.
Shrek's DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I was thinking it. I'm pretty certain. Is this a joke? Is this a joke? I didn't know. But yeah, DreamWorks. Pixar's like Toy Story and Bug's Life and all that.
Yeah, well, I do love Toy Story. Haven't, in actual fact, I picked up. It's just this week.
Oh, you got the 4K set. That's nice.
Yeah.
I bet they look good on 4K.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a chance to rewatch them as well. Rewatch the first few, and I've never actually seen them before yet. But I've been told, despite the fact that a lot of people said you shouldn't do number 4, number 3 finished it perfectly. There were quite a few people then turned around and said, actually, number 4 was pretty damn good. So, okay, I'm happy you did it now.
That's
so,
good.
yeah, really looking forward to seeing those. So, I think we've got to go with Toy Story. Yeah.
Definitely. Great choice. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, Blu-rays wise, I've probably got coming up to about 1,300 Blu-rays. Favorite Disney movie? It's probably a toss-up between Robin Hood and The Lion King. And my favorite Pixar movie is Toy Story 2.
Great pick.
Sorry, I have to jump in there because no one ever mentions Robin Hood as a great Disney movie, and that for me is the one that I rewatch most often. So I'm totally there with you for that one.
Yeah, I love that, the Robin Hood, the Disney Robin Hood. I think it's great. Yeah.
Totally. Mike?
Collection, I think probably altogether, like Blu-rays and DVDs, probably about 2,000, give or take. Favorite Pixar movie would be Toy Story 2, and Disney movie, I'll probably go with a recent one and say Coco. Is it Coco?
Coco, yeah.
Coco's Pixar.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
She fell into the same track as me.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Probably Robin Hood.
Yeah, that's good.
For
me,
yeah, it's great.
I used to like that as a kid. Yeah, I thought it was a good film. I haven't seen it in years though, but I did like it.
They showed it at the cinema whilst I was at university, so I went down to the cinema to see it for the first time ever, like on the big screen. It was fantastic.
Wow.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, me, about 1,000 films, Blu-rays. Favorite Disney film: Lilo and Stitch or Treasure Planet, and Toy Story 2 up for Pixar. But yeah, moving on, we've got Jules, and she says she's not sure if she's subscribed to Justin or Mike yet, and she's sorry if she's not, but everybody's link is in the description. So
Easily rectified that.
yeah, no need to worry. AJ says just sub to Justin, and
Thank
he's
you very
already
much,
subbed
AJ.
to everybody else. Thanks ever so much, AJ. David, we've already asked that on the previous question, David, but
Yeah.
thank you very much. And we do have the viewer Drew here. Hey, what's up? Thank you for
Hi,
joining, Drew. Good. Matt V Movies here saying Blade Runner series of videos coming up on my channel, BluJustin. A big fan of Blade Runner. Ooh, look forward to watching them, Matt. The viewer Drew saw Catwoman starring Halle Berry. It was awful. It makes Daredevil 2003 and Ghost Rider starring Nicolas Cage looks like masterpieces. I feel sorry for you, Drew, for watching that mess.
Yeah, wasn't that the same year that she got like the Razzie for Catwoman and the Oscar for Monsters Ball or something?
Yeah.
Mm. No, definitely misfire there. She couldn't save that film. It was awful.
But wasn't she the one person who was gutsy enough to actually go to the Razzies and actually accept her award, which I give her good respect for if you did. I think she did.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Mike? Catwoman?
No, and I probably never will. I've seen Daredevil and Ghost Rider, and yeah, they're not the best. So if they're anything, if Catwoman's anything like them, then I'll probably never go see it.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as Mike. I've seen Daredevil, seen Ghost Rider, never seen Catwoman. The only thing I've seen of it is I've seen Chris Duckman's review of it. That's the only part of it I've seen. But yeah, no intention, no interest in watching it.
That is one film I wish I never saw.
Yeah.
You can't unsee it, then, can you? But,
no. I think the only reason I watched it is because of Halle Berry.
Yeah, I can understand that. No, that's a fair excuse. No, actually, haven't seen that one, and I'm in the same situation. I haven't actually seen Ghost Rider, but I have seen Daredevil, both cuts. Director's one being much better, in my opinion. And
awesome.
What I will say is that though the movie itself was pretty darn rubbish, as we I think all agree, the special effects where the raindrops hit things that allowed him to hear them and see them, that was, I thought, brilliantly done. So he could actually make out shapes by the fact that the rain was falling on them.
That's
because
good.
he couldn't see them. But apart from that, yes, the rest of the film was pretty much rubbish.
Awesome. Jumped in the River. What did I see? Has joined. Great name. Hey guys, started watching when Lisa was on. Like your film talk, hope all as well. Thanks ever so much, mate, and thanks for commenting. This is the first time I think you commented on here, so thanks very much. Yeah, we are literally an hour behind the stream, so we're going to get through these comments real quick. Definitely. The viewer Drew says... Pardon?
I said I was trying to stop yabbering on with my answers.
No, it's just like literally they're coming up so quick and fast that I'm worried that some of them might get missed. But it's all right. The viewer Drew says, which comic book movie villain do you think is better? Colin Farrell as Bullseye, Wes Bentley as Blackheart, or Julian Mahone as Doctor Doom?
Probably Colin Farrell as Bullseye, because he was probably the most memorable. He was definitely having fun in the role. Yeah, out of those three, yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree there.
Yeah, Wes Bentley as in Ghost Rider wasn't very memorable. Doctor Doom was very underused, I think, in the Fantastic Four movies. But yeah, Colin Farrell, he's just having fun with it.
Yeah, he's always good value as an actor. I mean, like, you can still, even though the movie was still poor, you just still can remember to this day, like, you made me miss. I never miss. You know, so if you can get one good line out of it, then, you know, that's the one that calls it for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And now he's playing the Penguin.
Yeah, it's amazing how things start out.
Yeah.
But yeah. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, just probably Colin Farrell.
Yeah, I think we're all in agree with Colin Farrell. Yeah, it's easily the best. Chrissy says, Playtendoguy, were you able to check out the trailer for X again yet? I'd love to know if you think putting paranormal activity into other scenarios, like making an X film like in this film, would work. I did watch the trailer for X. I think is it A24 film? I can't remember what the label's called. But the same label who did like Hereditary.
Yeah, it's A24.
It looks pretty good. It looks pretty unique. Definitely looking forward to hearing what reviews are saying. It's not a film I'd definitely go out and watch straight away, but have you guys checked out the trailer for X yet?
No.
We have the Retro Chef here. Evening all. Evening, Retro Chef. Thanks for joining. The viewer Drew says, do you guys think Mahershala Ali will be a better Blade than Wesley Snipes, or do you think Wesley Snipes can't be topped?
I think he's a fantastic actor, Mahershala Ali.
You
know, he's got 2 Oscars under his belt. He is very, very good in the right role. But that Wesley Snipes movie, the first one, it's a lot of fun. Some of the CGI in it for me doesn't hold up, but he's great in it. It's very, very tough. You know, it's one of them where I'm gonna have to see the Mahershala Ali version of Blade and just, you know, make my decision then. Very, very tough to call at the minute.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes is Blade. He's so iconic with the role, so it's going to be very hard for Mahershala Ali to like top it. But I think he's probably the best choice they could go with.
Yeah.
Without obviously getting Wesley Snipes back. But what do you think, Mike?
I think it will just kind of depend on the quality of the film, really. Yeah, because Wesley Snipes, he's just so iconic in the role. I know the third one wasn't the best. No. The second one's probably my favorite of the 3. But yeah, I think it just depends with this new film. Like, it's just going to depend on the quality of the film, I think, because I feel like it'll be the role that playing the character will be quite similar.
Justin, what do you think?
Basically, I think I just have to agree with what everybody else is saying. Wesley Snipes is absolutely iconic in the role, and until I see somebody else in it, I can't really judge, obviously. But it's hard for me to imagine anybody topping him.
Yeah,
that's right, definitely. Lisa just saying she's delighted to see that Alan's back, and we all agree with that.
Yep.
Dr. Impossible, The Counterpunch, 1984. Love saying that name. Such a brilliant name. He says, even all, last night after John's stream, I decided to indulge in some Ken Russell Altered States and Russell's 88 film, Lair the White Worm. What Russell film would you recommend?
Women in Love's pretty good. I like that one. Tommy's okay. Yeah, probably just those.
What about you, Mike? Have you got any recommendations?
I think Tommy's the only one I've seen. Yeah, I can't really think of any other ones.
Yeah, I can't.
Devils.
I'm pretty up.
Oh yeah, the Devils. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That's probably
pretty
the
much.
best one, I think.
Mm.
Me, it's Lair of the White Worm. I do like that one because it's obviously based, presumably loosely, on the Bram Stoker novel.
Oh, was that?
Is that the one with Peter Capaldi? Lair of the White Worm. It's Peter Capaldi in that movie.
It's got Hugh Grant in it as well.
Yeah, Hugh Grant as well. Yeah, yeah.
They're so young, you can hardly recognise them. And Amanda Donohoe, and that's a good reason to watch. Anyway, but yeah. It's I think he did Lair of the White Worm before he did Dracula. It was like based on the same principle of the mythology around vampiric intent and stuff. But yeah, it was based on his book. So yeah, I do quite enjoy that one.
Oh, I might have to watch these then because I'm not really that familiar with Ken Russell. Oh. We've got Lisa just saying Jules and saying that Kermit was overwhelmed by all the kind messages. Yep, so brilliant to have him back on a Monday. Koroshi Ichi's here and he says the Devils and Crimes of Passion.
Yeah. No. That's a film, Crimes of Passion. That's a weird
Passion was one of his, was it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. I didn't realise that was one of his films as well. We have the Retro Girls here. Hey guys, Star Wars or Star Trek? And what's your favourite film from the franchise?
We had this question a few streams ago, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
I'll keep my answer short. I'm going to say Star Trek and Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. My favourite one.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'll keep my answer short as well because I think we did sort of go into lengths about why sort of differing opinions because I love both of them. But Star Trek, the obvious answer is probably Wrath of Khan, and Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
I've never seen none of the older Star Trek films. I think I've seen the first one, but I've never seen 2 to is it 6 or 7? What they done?
It's 10.
10? Oh, 10. Whoa. I've got a lot to catch up on.
There's 6 movies from the original cast, and then there's 4 movies from Next Generation. So there's 10.
What was that?
Those 10 altogether
there was
the same sort of continuity. Yeah.
And the
only one's obviously is if it divides by 2, it's a better movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that about the series. I do like the J.J. Abrams films. I like the first 2 quite a bit. But yeah, I've got to probably say Star Trek after Star... I could stand here and say Star Wars The Last Jedi, but I'd be really massively lying there, so I'll just say Star Trek. What about you, Justin?
I think it's overall I'd probably go with the traditional Star Wars Empire thing, but I absolutely love both franchises so much. And even though some people, dislike the J.J. Abrams reimagining of Star Trek, I thought it was a great way to do it. If you're going to do it, with all guns blazing. Don't hold back. Don't try to fit in with your previous ideas. Inject your own, because otherwise it's just copying.
Mm.
So yeah, I wasn't actually betting on the first J.J. Abrams. I could see like rather too many plot difficulties that annoyed me. One drop of this liquid like destroys this, that, and the other, and you decided to give me like about half a ton of it in the back of a small spacecraft. That was a little bit awful, that one.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I enjoy both franchises so much.
Yeah.
And would I go out and would watch, all of them again and again, and I do. So
That's good. Next up, we've got Lisa, and she says, "Yay, Mike, and for always being on time for movies. I get very agitated if people keep me late going to see a movie. Clearly, I have issues."
Yeah, I'm always kind of annoyingly early for the cinema. Even though I book my seats, I'm always paranoid that someone's going to be sat in my seat. So I always kind of like go early just to make sure I get my seat.
I totally get that. Lisa, thanks for all the comments on my videos. Jules saying, "Hi, Alan, great to have you back." Dr. Impossible says, yeah, Crimes of Passion with the rather tasty Miss Wonderful Legs, Kathleen Turner. I did slip on D-List song of the Summer, probably his best short for the BBC's Monitor series in the 60s. Ooh.
was Crimes of Passion the one with, was it William Hurt, whatever, it's the psychopath or something?
It's been such a long time since I've seen it.
Something like
Crimes of Passion's got Anthony Perkins.
Oh, Anthony Perkins, that's right. Sorry, yeah. The only one that I do have Blu-ray, but I haven't seen it in a really long time. But the one line I just always, every time I see the title, the one line from the movie that always comes to mind is Kathleen Turner in her outfit as an air hostess. In her role as an escort, goes like, we may run out of Pan Am coffee, but we never run out of TWA tea.
Yeah.
She says, well, you have to sort of like know the airlines of the time with TWA and Pan Am. I think they've both gone bust now, so it doesn't work.
Yeah. Peter says, "Dr. Impossible, don't you mean the Kate Bush song?" We've got the DVD and Film Bloke here. Hi, everyone. Hey, mate. Thanks for joining. Peter says, "Andy, I'm glad you're both doing a channel and that you're on these streams. You have proper knowledge of films and have watched lots." Totally agree.
Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah. No, thanks. That means a lot. That's why I do it. I hope I, spread the word about movies not a lot of people have seen, and I hope to gain more knowledge along the way as well. So if I'm spreading that, I'm hopefully doing something right, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. So yeah, that means a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Peter there. DVD and Film Bloke says, "I've ordered Heavenly Creatures because I think the cost of the DVD is starting to creep up. The Blu-ray is rarer than hen's teeth, and it's listed for £30 on eBay at the moment."
Yeah, it's quite rare. Yeah.
It's not my favorite Peter Jackson film, but it's still pretty good. Is
this after Brain Dead, but before the one with Michael J. Fox?
Yeah. It's in between Brain Dead and The Frighteners.
That's what the one with Michael J. Fox. Yeah, I forgot what it was called. Yeah. Haven't seen it yet, but quite interesting to see like the prices of the DVDs are creeping up. Must be really rare, and Matt says, "Heard that Tesco is stopping selling physical media from the end of February. Sign of the times, I'm afraid." Yeah, it's odd. It's odd. went in last week. They got Dune, they got Ghostbusters, and they had the new video game release of Dying Light. Yet this week we haven't got the Eternals, we haven't got Resident Evil, we haven't got Diana, we haven't got Encanto, which is odd. You'd thought they'd do the new Marvel film, but no.
Strange. Oh, the ones in my Tesco are completely gone. They only last time I was there, they only had like a little stand for June. That's all they had.
Yeah, it's strange. It's like Sainsbury's. They'll have something for like the big new release. Like for the last one for them was like No Time to Die. They'll have a stand up for that, and that's it. It just feels like if you're gonna do it, don't half-ass do it. Go in it and do at least the top 10 new releases or something like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? Oh, sorry, Justin.
Sorry, no, just seems like the way. And what seems really odd is that I have seen on, I can't remember whose channel it was, someone who does have like movie inside content type of thing. And in actual fact, Blu-rays are selling higher now than they did in the whole of the last 10 years. So they're being thrown out of supermarkets. I mean, nobody would believe it because they just think streaming's taking over everything. But I think the people who really are supportive of Blu-rays are very much going in and buying them maybe online. And it's the trouble is with supermarkets, they're the ones who appeal only to the casual buyer. And we're passing this on the way to pick up our bottle of wine and a bunch of bananas. So they're just not getting anything out of it, and they're leaving it to the more specialist shops.
Yeah, I do think blaming it on streaming is quite an easy and cheap way just to blame it on, because obviously, as you said, like if Blu-rays are selling more than they did 10 years ago, there is money to be had there. And if they sold the titles that did sell well, not just do every other new release, just do like the big new releases of each week, it would work out better for them.
Yeah, I agree. So to be perfectly honest, I will be honest here. The main reason I used to go in and check their shelves was not to actually buy stuff off there, because they hardly ever had a decent selection of Blu-rays. But basically, I used to look along the DVDs and go, do any of these actually appeal story-wise? And then I used to go home and go, I bet these aren't actually out in the UK as Blu-rays, are they? So I'll go and order them off the German release.
Yeah.
Which is very, very sad. I mean, Germany gets so many more releases than we do.
Yeah,
and America
I agree.
as well, obviously, as well. But,
yeah. I just go into Tesco and look at the DVDs and point out which one Bruce Willis is in. They could have a whole section of that.
Yeah.
or Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The Nick Cage
Yeah. What about you, Mike? What is your Tesco like?
It's still got a fair few. It's mostly, all the just the latest sorts of releases. But yeah, it's still got some.
That's good. Lisa says it's shocking that Mass isn't up for a lot of categories. Isn't this the one with Jason Isaacs?
Yeah. I might have the Blu-ray actually here somewhere. If I can find it. Yeah, this is the one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I love it. I thought it was a great film. Fantastic drama. It's scandalous that movie isn't up for Best Picture, and Don't Look Up is.
It does seem very strange. A lot of these awards line up for nominations are very questionable every year. I noticed that.
Yeah.
Peter
Sorry,
says, I
I'm
mostly
looking
join.
from that's where the laptop is, and it's about 10 seconds behind the stream that I'm looking at.
That's
I
all
just
right.
wanted to see that. I just wanted to see the cover when you held up there.
Peter says, I mostly join these streams just to get to hear Andy say, yeah, a bunch of times.
Thanks. Yeah.
DVD Full Bloke says, I started my channel because I had been watching YouTube regularly for years prior. I used to watch people like Dan VHS back in the day. I've been seriously collecting since 2014. Yeah, that's cool. Great. It's always great to hear people's own stories to why they've joined YouTube.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible said to Peter that was the Gothic film in '86. I totally forgot about that. Russell certainly had a stylish eye for outlandish production design of his films. I watched The Rainbow. Right. DVD and Film Bloke says, also, I discovered Alan Kermit's Ghost and James at Moviebug years later during the pandemic. I got involved with this subset of community from looking at what channels subscribe to me. Cheers. Oh, that's good.
I think that's another reason why people got into it was the pandemic.
Definitely. Channels started to blow up quite a bit during the pandemic because everybody was at home, not a lot to do. And it was a great way to actually do something, a good hobby and a great way to meet people when you couldn't meet people. But there's always new channels popping up every week. There's always new channels, which is great to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what's great is that everybody's always so welcoming in the new channels. Nobody goes to like, trying to fight you off and keep people to myself or anything. It's all sort of like spread that information. I mean, like you with me, so like inviting me on and this and that. Everybody sort of like gives you help and information that you need if you're out there and asking. Everyone's just so good.
Yep, I certainly agree there. Karshi Ichi says, yes, that Crimes of Passion. Also get Mother Joan of the Angels if you get the Devils. Peter says, Dr. Impossible, I don't know, I'm just thinking Kate Bush has a song named that. She's got a lot of weird songs in the 70s, 80s catalogue. I had a conversation about Kate Bush last night for about an hour, so so that's kind of strange to see all this. Pete also says, some people keep asking me when I'm going to start doing my own channel, but I'm fine with my status as legendary YouTube commenter. And yep, you certainly are, Peter. We have Ryan here from Let's Get Kicking Movies. Hey, how's it going, guys? Got a PSP today, cost me 80 quid, but I think I've hit the movie Motherload and ended up getting 13 movie UMDs for it.
Oh, that's
nice.
Yeah, we had a look at like the UMDs you get for PSP, and it's amazing what titles you can get. You can get series of Doctor Who, The Mighty Bush. They've even got the Harry Potter 1 to 8 box set on it.
Wow.
So, yeah, real cheap and all, like anywhere from like 50p to like £2 a film.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, Antenna 2 complete opposites. With one crazy director, I've had The Devils on VHS pre-cert for over 40 years. Bought The Devils last year on DVD. I've got Mother. Cool.
Nice.
DVD from Film Bloke says, also, I did read your reviews of Meet the Feebles, Pete. Yes, it is something different. I can't recommend Bad Taste, Brain Dead, and The Frighteners enough. Heavenly Creatures hasn't arrived yet. I did watch a bit of Bad Taste and a bit of Brain Dead, and I liked what I saw. There's a bit with like a lawnmower in Brain Dead, and I was like, wow, that's quite interesting. But yeah, definitely what I'll watch them too. I'll probably see if I can watch them this week. And The Frighteners, it's got Michael J. Fox in, so I definitely want to give that a go. What are your opinions on the films, guys?
Bad Taste is okay. Meet the Feeble. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I think that they're okay for what they are. Brain Dead, I think, is fucking great. I love that. I love Brain Dead. It's absolutely amazing. The Frighteners was a massive surprise for me. It wasn't really what I expected the first time I watched it. It's way cleverer than it deserves to be. It's got a fantastic plot, fantastic twist. It's so good. I absolutely love it. Heavenly Creatures, I think, it's very middle of the road for me. That one, it's not my favorite, but I don't think it's bad either. Yeah.
Oh, cool. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, Heavenly Creatures is kind of like probably his most mature film. It's like very different to the rest of the films there. I love The Frighteners. I love Brain Dead. Bad Taste is okay. It kind of, when I watch that film, it feels more like Peter Jackson just got a bunch of his mates and went off into the hills in New Zealand and just shot like a student film and just kind of messed around.
Definitely does feel that, what I've seen of it. Yeah, I agree there. What about you, Justin?
I'm going to let you catch up with comments coming ahead because I've not watched any of them, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Did Peter Jackson do the Lovely Bones?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember that one. That was all right. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Ryan says, Pete, where's the Gregs you owe me? Been waiting since August, and I only asked for a sausage roll. Well, it's waiting. It must have been lost in the post, so it's gone all dried up now. So unfortunately, you'll have to wait until we meet up sometime in the future. Peter says, Ryan, I'm disappointed you're not on this stream. Was hoping you were going to sing to us again. Yeah, unfortunately, he's not on tonight, but he is going to be singing again in a future episode of his series of Arrow of the Night. DVD Even Film Bloke says The Frighteners, I think, is a successful mix of an amateur and a mature aspect of Peter Jackson. It's a great, well-made film and a great horror comedy.
It's very polished compared to his early work. It's a lot more Hollywood. It feels about as far away as a student film as his early work does.
Yeah.
It's just a polished Hollywood early Peter Jackson film. I would say The Frighteners. Yeah.
You can get that on like the H&B VHS range, can't you?
Yeah. I'm looking at mine right now, but yeah.
Cool.
It's a fun film. I love it a lot.
It's definitely one I want to watch because of Michael J. Fox. But yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye out for that one. Dr. Impossible says, at the end of this decade, physical will be gone. I'll be in my underground bunker with my physical media. Long live physical media.
Yeah.
Me too. I'll be in my bunker.
Yeah. Koshi Ichi says, Holy Mother, whatever is that, you're old. Women in love might be an interest. I wasn't a fan of Tommy, but your mileage may vary.
I'm not the biggest fan of Tommy, but it was really like the only other one I could think of.
Ryan says, remember, random ass chat is among us. Peter says, I picked up the 3-disc DVD of Frighteners on DVD cheap 2 weeks ago. I'll try and watch it. Oh, that's quite cool. I didn't know they released like a 3-disc edition of it. Was there like different cuts, or was it just loads of special features?
I'm not sure. Wasn't there supposed to be an Arrow release of it coming out?
Ages ago, weren't there?
Yeah, because they put postcards in the releases sometimes, and there was one for The Frighteners, but that was like over a year ago when I got it. So I don't know if it's still happening or if they've just cancelled it for whatever reason. But yeah, not too sure.
I've never seen it about, so probably it was something they were planning on doing, and then it just never happened because of like lockdown and stuff like that, or rights issues. But hopefully it'll happen. Peter says, Ryan, are you going to do like Ace Ventura and sing out of your ass? Don't do that, you'll lose viewers. DVD Film Bloke says, Peter, I have the standard Blu-ray. I got it back in 2017. It's gone out of print. Of The Frighteners, wow.
Yeah.
Cheeky shit, I'm not a dinosaur material just yet, says Dr. Impossible. Right. Ryan says, here's a question for your lovely lot. Keep, bin, or burn the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Scream, or Friday the 13th?
I'd keep all of them.
Well, yeah, I've only seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Scream, and I'd keep them, and I'm pretty certain I like Friday the 13th. They're not a bad film there.
Mm.
Yeah. I'd probably say Friday the 13th, probably the weakest out of the three of them. But none of them are bad.
Well, I'm just going to have to mess with everybody's answers and goes like, I'm just not really that sort of horror type fan. So again, it's something that I really couldn't make much of a comment on, other than I personally believe from things that I've read and people I've talked to that I would probably stick with Texas Chainsaw Massacre being the most influential and important to those.
Yeah. Peter says, for some reason, YouTube blocked by Kora Chicha Yaya, whatever. I have no idea. DVD Film Bloke says, you're not blocked. I can see you. I think Koroshia blocked someone you had already blocked on your channel. Right. Ryan says, Pete, when are you getting Alba's hairstyle? You could sing us a couple of songs for us. No, Ryan. Maybe after the stream. No, not after the stream. Never. Koroshia Ichi says, yeah, that's us to decide whether you're a dinosaur, but Serial looks like you're pretty covered with the Ken Russell stuff. Yeah, I definitely never got into Ken Russell that much, so I'm kind of interested now. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Peter says, Ryan, I don't have the hair growth for that kind of hairstyle nowadays, but I did have a cool sort of Elvis-esque hairstyle for while I was in my mid-20s. Koshiichi says, never mind Pete's hairstyle. When is he going to take us to the red light district as promised? Oh, jeez, I told you, Koroshia, you mustn't talk about that on the live stream. Anyway, that was Ryan's idea. I'm sweet and innocent, so I don't really know nothing what's going on. But moving on swiftly, we have Gary here, and good evening. Good evening, Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Thanks for joining.
Hey.
Dr. Impossible says, I thought I saw Pete modelling for Heart Foundation new spring range. Blue Monday was the label, apparently. Dr. Impossible says, me, I modelled for the Freeman catalogue back in the 70s. Didn't last long. No, with me, I meant everyone in the chat. Oh, sorry, old age again. Haha, not all that myself. Having a feeling you would know for spring chicken. Oh, Ryan, you were talking to the Playtendoguy, not me. Yeah. Koroshia is apparently 87, so I don't do the maths. No, I'm not 87, though I do act and look like it, though. Year from Warner Brothers that year. Lethal Weapon, The Lost Boy, a nice vintage year. Totally agree. We've got flicks, snacks, and knickknacks here, and I just recorded a trailer reaction for the new remake of Firestarter. It is my fourth anticipated movie of the year. Have you guys seen the trailer for it?
Nope.
No, I wasn't even aware they were doing a remake to it but I did see the thumbnail for the trailer earlier today. But yeah, that was a big surprise for me.
I watched it on Facebook. There was an advertisement for it. It's on Bloomhouse. So
Okay.
I think it's got something to do with like the team behind the the Invisible Man remake or reimagining. It looks all right. It looks like a by the numbers sort of remake, just brought up to modern standards. I mean, I watched the one with Drew Barrymore. Is it Drew Barrymore last year?
Yeah.
Honestly, really enjoyed it. And this one just seems to be like beat for beat, very much the same, probably with a few new things to do with modern technology, but that was about it. It's not something that I'm desperately going to watch, but it'll be interesting to see what it's like, nevertheless.
Yeah.
What about you, Justin?
No, I'm not similar. I'm very similar. I've not really seen anything or heard anything about it, so I'll let people ask questions until you find one I can actually comment on properly, so we can catch up a little bit.
Yep. David says, have you found any good titles in the charity shops? I have, but they're overpriced. They're more expensive than HMV, so I'll leave them on the shelf.
Don't really go into charity shops.
What about you, Mike?
I don't think so. Yeah, most of the one I just tend to find like DVDs in there. Sometimes I might find like one that's you don't really see in the wild all that much, but yeah, I think most of the rest, the good stuff is in like CEX probably.
Yeah, I'd say that. I went into. Oh, Justin, do you want to say what you were going to say?
Yeah, despite the fact that my local high street seems to have become practically all charity shops, there never seems to be anything in them, certainly not Blu-ray wise, that I hope to be able to find. And the only things I tend to pick up are really cheap, like live comedy performances and stuff like that really don't matter whether it's Blu-ray or DVD.
Yeah. I did go into one charity shop, was it the other day, and the Blu-Rays, they had a whole shelf of Blu-Rays. Every single one of them was 50 Shades of Grey. I went to the staff member, I said, why is there like literally so many of them? She said some bloke got a whole box full of 50 Shades of Grey and just left them on the desk. I said, why did he need about 50 copies of 50 Shades of Grey? She said, I don't know.
Probably couldn't sell them.
I don't know. The mind boggles why he needs 50 copies of them.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that it was Big Paulie being sent them all to destroy. Because wasn't he going to try to collect all the copies in the country and then destroy them online or something?
Yeah, I think I can remember that one.
To save
Yeah.
everyone from having to suffer from it. I hopefully this sort of like won't be too bad. I'm going to try to have to turn off the camera and microphone for a couple of seconds because I've got to take some medication.
No
That's
problem.
all right, mate.
Yeah.
And that's all right. We'll just continue on a bit.
Yeah.
Koshi says, yes, indeed, but I'm happy with Hellraiser is going to be released this year. Wasn't allowed to see it in cinemas then for some strange reason. Yeah, because they're doing a new reboot this year, isn't they?
Of course they are.
Yeah.
We have Dark Films here. Valentino is a great Ken Russell film. Awesome. Don't think I've seen your name here before on the stream, so welcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pete says, DVD bloke, you would still be able to see me if Korochichi Yaya blocked me.
Okay.
Dr. Impossible says, Hellraiser, went to the cinema to see that in 87. I remember two people making love in the front row. One had a skinhead and his girlfriend looked like she just had come out of a Ken Russell's nightmare.
Wow.
Oh.
God.
The Retro Girl says, if you're into gaming, Playtendoguy. I know you are. What is your favourite console? I would say at the moment the Switch or the DS, 3DS, something like that. But I do like the PS4. What about you guys?
Probably PS2 or PS3. I like that you could backplay to the PS1 on both of them because there's a lot of PlayStation 1 games I quite like. There's a PlayStation 1 game that I don't think a lot of people talk about called Disruptor, and it feels very much like a first person shooter version of Total Recall. It kind of has that vibe to it, which I really, really enjoyed playing as a kid. Like, even there's parts of that game where once you've done a level, it cuts to like footage of real people, and it very much does feel like Total Recall. Like, even the bad guy kind of looks like Cohagen in that game. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot as well. Absolute staple. Love that for the PS1. PS2, GTA Vice City. Phenomenal game. PS3, the Batman games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. Fantastic stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. Mike?
I've been an Xbox guy for the past 20 years now, so I don't think I'll ever go back.
I've always wanted to get into Xbox, but it's just like something I've never really got into. But like with the Game Pass and like all the recent acquisitions, I'm like, oh, maybe an Xbox doesn't seem too bad to have after all.
Yeah.
Koroshia Ichi says what happened in that cinema was way scarier than the whole Hellraiser franchise combined.
Oh God.
Flick Snacks and Knickknack says, I like Star Wars more. Favorite movies are Rogue One and Revenge of the Sith. Yep, I agree. They're both very good films. I love Star Trek 2, though. The new Star Trek trilogy was better than the Star Wars sequels, so there's that. I do agree. Welcome back, Justin.
Thank you very much. And let's face it, it wouldn't be a video with me on it if I didn't have a shirt change halfway through at some point. But yeah, I'm all tableted up now.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
Thanks everyone for pausing. And I'm not a. I've only ever done a couple of PC games and flight sims and stuff like that myself. So I really wouldn't been able to indulge in select consoles and stuff like that. So I think I chose a good moment to be interrupted by my alarm.
Yeah, definitely. Dr. Impossible says, hellish times indeed. 1987 wasn't that all that great until you popped into the world and the nightmare was over. Peter says, I like Revenge of the Sith too, and I feel for Anakin when I watch it.
It's probably the best of the prequels, Revenge of the Sith.
Definitely is. It's such an easily rewatchable film. I remember I used to have that on all the time as a kid. I had the DVD and I constantly played it like once a week. Just loved it. Yeah. The final battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Oh.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. Can't remember a thing from 87, but I'm glad I was put on the earth that year going to watch The Thing from Another World now. So take care and enjoy the stream. Thanks ever so much, Koroshia, and I hope you enjoy your film.
Yep.
Dr. Impossible echoing that. Peter says, I'm putting my Grease 2 Blu-ray in my watch pile soon. Here now. Thanks for the reminder. Grease 1 seems awful.
I like the first Grease for what it
I
is.
like it too.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's all right. It's pretty good. It's I've known a lot of people say Grease 1 is pretty bad, and some people just love Grease 2 way more. It's strange to see so many people. It's very mixed, 50-50 with both films.
Yeah, I've not actually met anyone who's actually been that way around. But obviously, like, different strokes, for different folks. Whatever. Maybe it was so I was, around when the original Grease came out, and yeah, I mean, it didn't spawn like lots of number one hits or chart hits for no reason, to be honest. In my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, have you guys seen a good non-Roger Moore Bond film like Bed and Breakfast, Gold, a great Roger Moore action film, or North Sea Hijack? The one I watched last year was The Wild Geese. I quite enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty good on Arrow. It was quite brutal in that to like a cocaine dealer. It was pretty brutal to him.
Well, the end of that is brilliant. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Like Wild Geese is an absolute top for me. But I think for me, if I was going to go with a Roger Moore film where he proved he could, he wasn't just your action type hero person, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I like North Sea Hijack as well. Actually, go with the pencil. Beat the Joker to it, like that sometimes. I think he was in Man Who Haunted Himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like that was a really good acting study of showing how good he could be if he was put in a role where he wasn't just required to raise an eyebrow and look cool.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, the one I'd say would probably be The Wild Geese, because I think in that film he's not quite like James Bond. He's kind of like a bit of a darker character. Yeah, and I enjoyed that one. I wasn't a big fan of North Sea Hijack. I remember buying that, and just from the poster, it looks like it's going to be a sort of a James Bond type of film, but I found it a little bit too slow and not very heavy on the action. But that's just me. But yeah, I like The Wild Geese.
I haven't seen North Sea Hijack, so I'll probably will have to look into that. What about you, Andy?
There's not a lot of films outside of Bond that I've seen him in, if I'm honest. I've seen bits and bobs of Gold. Unfortunately, there's only 2 movies that come to mind with him in outside of Bond that I've seen, and they're not very good. I think one of them's Boat Trip, and the other one's Spice World, the movie. Yeah, unfortunately, but yeah, I'd say Boat Trip because that is like one of the most un-Roger Moore roles. But yeah, not a lot of it is good stuff, unfortunately, outside of Bond. I've not seen.
Yeah. Peter says, I'm considering ordering North Sea Hijack from 88 Films.
Yeah, that's the one I've got, yeah.
Be honest,
Edward says, what?
They're saying it's on my list to order as well. That's what I keep on meaning to put in the shopping basket and keep looking.
Yeah, I'll probably keep an eye on it when the 88 Films go on offer, because they normally go on offer soon, don't they? 2 for $15 or something. Edward says, what's your thoughts on Cheaper by the Dozen remake for Disney Plus this year, and do you think it's just Disney running out of ideas? Yeah, definitely. It's this year's Home Sweet Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can only
Stupid it
agree.
is. But yeah, it's a bit like the Simpsons animated shorts that they did for like Disney Plus anniversary and all that, where they get like some of the Marvel characters and some of the Disney characters in. They're saying they're not really that good at all.
Yeah.
It's just used as a tool to show what Disney owns, and they don't really use their properties really well, which is true. They just seem to waste all these good properties just to say, hey, we've got it, let's just put it out there and do a half-assed version of it.
Yeah.
Steve Max here. Hey guys, looking forward to The Hitcher, which is getting a Blu-ray release this year with C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer. Definitely looking forward to that one. I've heard a lot of positive things and I want to watch that.
Yeah, that's probably my most anticipated release. I think it's getting a 4K.
That's it.
Yeah, I think originally it was just going to be Blu-ray, but they said that they're now doing 4K. So yeah, I can't wait for that one.
If that's getting a 4K, I'm picking that movie up on 4K because I love The Hitcher.
Yep.
That is such a good film.
It certainly is. I remember actually I saw The Hitcher for the first time. I saw it actually in the cinema, and it was like when I was obviously hadn't seen that movie, but it was the first time I think where I had actually was going, what the hell just happened at the end? I'd never seen sort of like a film where, you know, that was the denouement, and that was, you know, things all didn't turn out perfectly for the good guys, etc. It was like one hell of a baptism of fire, if you like. But I mean, the Howler is, you know, it was amazing in that and was an absolutely incredible actor. Great loss.
Yep, definitely.
He's a superb villain. In you know, whenever he plays the villain, he delivers. You know, Roy Batty, Blade Runner, like, you know, he's phenomenal in Blade Runner. He's just so good. The Hitcher, even the one with Sylvester Stallone, Nighthawks, that's a pretty good movie. The Hitcher is phenomenal. Like, I love that film. It's one of those movies that does so much with so little. Is it pretty much for the entire film? It's pretty much just these two actors. You know, obviously there's a supporting cast, but the main focus is like it's pretty much the dynamic between these two actors, and they don't really share that much screen time together. But you feel the whole chemistry and the whole impact that they have on each other. It's phenomenal. Oh, I love that film. It's so good.
Yeah,
I think this is like the only thing that I mean, not in the same way, but the only thing I sort of equate it to was something like Spielberg's Duel, where even though you hardly see any of the protagonists and they're never in the same scene, that sort of thing, just the tension is just amazingly kept up by the direction and the story. It's just so well done.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the remake, and I'm not sure if I want to.
No,
it's not good. It's
Thank you for the
not
advice.
It's not a patch on the Rutger Hauer one. No.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that getting released, and then I can finally see what it's like. I've heard so many positive things.
I will get that film on 4K if it comes out on 4K. Yeah.
You won't be having a plate full of chips for a while afterwards.
No.
I'm intrigued now.
When you watch that scene, it takes you a while to clock on what you're seeing, and it's like, oh my god, wow, yeah.
Can you imagine the first time, like when I was like watching it on the big screen and was going, oh, what the?
Yeah.
Peter says, but I'm always turned off from ordering something from A8 Films when I see that the first edition slipcover is sold out, but they're the same price. Dr. Impossible says, pick it up. Great Roger Moore fluff with Anthony Perkins is as a terrorist. Okay.
Okay.
Niall says they made postcards with both Inglourious Bastards and Wolf of Wall Street, and they never did a release of the movies, so I think it was a rights issue. Oh, for Arrow. That's interesting. Yeah, I can remember Inglourious Bastards was supposed to be on Arrow a while ago, but again, never heard no more of it.
Mm.
Okay.
Lisa agrees. Hitcher is such an awesome movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch it. Gary says, picked up Ken Russell's The Devils on BFI. Great movie. Cool. Peter says, Dr. Impossible, I'm making an order with 88 within the next days. Don't miss the Anaconda set and probably make one more order again from them. I'll get North Sea sometime soon. Cool. Anaconda set does look nice. Lisa says, you guys are getting a reputation with the talk of red light districts and Caligula.
Nothing wrong with Caligula. It's a jolly good movie. Well, I mean, at least on one of the recent releases, they actually got the the original mainstream actors to actually do a commentary on it. So, apart from the bits that they put in that weren't approved, shall we say, then maybe stuff like it would have got a bit more respect.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued about this Caligula. I guess it's not one to watch with the parents.
No.
No.
It's not one to watch with anyone. To be honest, it really isn't. It's yeah. It is what it is. But my word.
It's an experience.
Well,
it's got some really good actors in it, to be fair.
Oh, the cast is really good. Really good cast. But it's just a shame about what you see. I could have done without it, but yeah.
Steve Mack says one of Ken Russell's 80s movies with a gothic weird look at Lord Byron with Timothy Spall in it. Oh, that's cool.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah. Could be worse, Lisa. We could be talking about Matthew Corbett's obsession with the word cock. Okay.
Wow.
Peter says, I got Crimes of Passion on Arrow Video, but still haven't watched it. The neon pink layout looked cool, and any movie that has Anthony Perkins playing a sweaty sex bar has got to be good.
Yeah, it's an interesting film.
Yeah.
DVD from Film Bloke says, well, I guess you developed some weird interest having had City Arse up for 25 years. Haven't heard that one. DVD from Film Bloke says, in 2005, every charity shop had Little Britain DVDs 2022, it's 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
But I think like a couple of years ago, Little Britain DVDs were going for like silly money, weren't they, on eBay?
Yeah, it's just become a show that's because the show isn't very PC by today's standards. It's very hard to get hold of. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a time when I remembered there was Come Fly With Me. That was going on eBay for like £100. And I was like, what?
Because I don't think they're on BBC iPlayer, are they?
I don't think they are, no. I think the only way you can probably watch them is probably on YouTube, maybe you could find copies of them.
Yeah.
But I remember there was a time.
So expensive.
Yeah.
I wish now I just picked them all up for 50p and kept them. They'll be worth something one day. 2020. Oh yeah, 50 quid a go.
Yeah.
We've got Tony Crosby here. Good evening, peeps. Thanks for joining, Tony. Hope you're doing well.
Hello.
DVD and Film Bloke says, I think the guy who brought all those copies of 50 Shades probably bought Forgetting Blu-rays don't wear out, unlike VHS tapes.
Brilliant.
I'd just like to know how many bloody Blu-ray players did he have? Dr. Possible says the charity shop where I live seems to be big on Emmanuel and 50 Shades. Sign of the times, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
DVD and Film Black says someone mentioned City on another stream, and I just want to use that excuse to make a joke. Peter says, I got the Studio Canal Blu-ray of The Man Who Fell to Earth in the mail today. Picture quality looks great. Seems like an interesting film too. That's the David Bowie one, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. I couldn't get into that film.
Same. Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I haven't watched it all the way through. But apparently they're going to remake it or do a sort of semi-sequel with Bill Nye.
Okay.
I don't know why, but there you go. Are you seeing it, Justin? The Man Who Fell to Earth?
No, actually, I do like Bowie, but that's not unfortunately that's not something I've actually watched. So I can't actually add anything there. But I think it's one of those iconic type roles. So I don't think a follow-up or a remake or something like that is something that is really going to appeal or work.
Yeah. It's, of all the things to announce like a follow-up or remake, it's like, really, do we need one?
We have enough people actually even seen the original.
That's true.
Yeah.
Tony says Ken Russell is my all-time favorite director. Awesome. Gary says Nintendo 64 is my favorite game console. Definitely a fantastic, iconic console. So many great games.
Yep.
Gary says Grease 2 isn't very good.
Okay.
And Peter says Grease 1 still seems worse. Lisa says love a bit of cheesy Grease.
Interesting about the stories about how they had to, even in the original or something, they have to blur out the adverts in the background about Coke or something, or change them all to Pepsi because of the sponsorship deals. And now they've electronically, digitally changed them all back again, or something like that.
Okay.
Very weird stories. Not that it obviously makes any difference to the story or the the singing or the acting or whatever. I just find it intriguing that all these little things go on behind the scenes to do with money and sponsorship, and you don't find out about until years and years later.
It's quite cool.
Yeah.
Niall says, I don't think a lot of people actually know that Grease had a twist at the end.
I've heard a lot of fan theories about the end of Grease. The entire film, Sandy was in a coma, and when they fly off in the car at the end, that's sort of her passing away.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
Very dark lens to view that film through, but I never.
Yeah, it is.
Why?
No, I couldn't get that, but yeah. Dr. Impossible would rather see a rendition of Grease 2 by the Mist Men. Interesting. Lisa says, have to thank you guys for the recommendations of House of Sand and Fog, amazing, and Scent of a Woman, really enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm glad Lisa enjoyed House of Sand and Fog, because I love that film. Very tough ending, but Yeah, I think that's a great movie.
Sense of a Woman. I don't know the other one, and maybe I should look it out. But Sense of a Woman, yeah, I really like that film.
Yeah. One of Al Pacino. Yeah.
Great. Another, as always, great performance. You know, and even the moralistic bits don't come across as, you know, stupidly preachy. They're all just working character.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a minute, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no
you're
problem.
fine. You're fine, mate. Gary says saying Grease 2 is better than 1 is equivalent to saying Speed 2 is better than 1.
Okay.
I've heard quite a few defenders of like Grease 2. It's amazing. I've always assumed that Grease 2 was like really bad, but quite a few people have said they've enjoyed it more. So I am intrigued by it.
Yeah. Speed 2 is not good, but the best part about Speed 2 for me is Willem Dafoe. There's the villain. He's hamming it up. He's having a lot of fun. The first movie is quite silly for what it is, but it's very entertaining. It doesn't lose that. It doesn't lose your attention.
No.
Yeah.
It just works, but like obviously the second one just doesn't.
I mean, Willem Dafoe is quite good at hamming it up as the villain when he wants to.
Completely. Yeah.
I agree. Gary also says Roger Moore was good in Cannonball Run, but he was still basically playing Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember that film. That's pretty good. Peter says, I should probably pick up Wild Geese on the Easter sale. Might go out of print soon. Probably. That's definitely a good film to pick up.
I need to see Wild Geese. I've not seen it.
I think it's a stunning film. I think people actually underrate Wild Geese 2 as well, just because really it's not a sequel, despite the fact it has the same name. It's taken in isolation as a totally different type of film. It's not so bad, and there are an awful lot of weird stories going on about it, about why such and such a person didn't do this, and obviously Richard Burton couldn't reprise his role because he died sort of like one day before filming started. Well, I think it's actually quite good fun if you take it in isolation, but it's nothing compared to the original Wild Geese, which actually is quite powerful and moving in an action movie type of thing.
It does have quite a couple of moving moments in it. I definitely do agree.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything.
No. Dr. Impossible says, great choice, The Man Who Haunted Himself. Network through Studio Canal did a good, decent job on the transfer. Recommended film. Cool. Niall says, Roger Moore also did a movie called Ice Fire and Dynamite as one crazy skiing movie. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Didn't know that. Peter says, Gary, I haven't watched neither yet, but I kind of hate songs from the first one because I've heard them played in bars too many times, and I prefer Pfeiffer, Caulfield to Newton-John and Travolta, so I'm expecting to. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, Ice Fire stunt work equals some of the Bond stunts. Cheesy but enjoyable. Okay, that's quite interesting. Peter says, lol, Amazon keeps doing these short-lived little campaigns on 88 films. Didn't know that.
No.
Gary says, is The Hitcher being released by Second Sight?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a good release, and they'll do probably like a hard box edition with like a booklet and like some art cards as well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, that'll be a nice set.
That film deserves it. It's long overdue for a proper Blu-ray release. Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, just look at the atmospheric cinematography by John Seal in The Hitcher Magic. Seal also did Chore, aka Razorback Wild Boar.
Okay.
That's quite interesting. Right. Viewer Drew says, what superhero casting choice do you feel gets too much hate for? Me, Ben Affleck as Daredevil, even though Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze was meh. He was good as Ghost Rider.
I'm gonna say George Clooney as Batman, but I'm gonna say he's a lot better as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Than Batman. He would actually. I think he'd make for a great older Bruce Wayne in a movie today.
Yeah, I would agree there. Yeah, definitely. Anyone else, Mike?
I can't really think of any. No, I'm drawing a blank.
I probably agree with the original post and say it's Ben Affleck as Daredevil. I think that's a lot of that's because Daredevil movie itself gets a lot of hate. So that sort of like tends to bring down people's opinion or his role in it, whether or not it was good or not.
Yeah. I don't know whether like Ben Affleck as Batman still gets a lot of hate, because I can remember a while ago that used to get a lot of hate. Or is he more accepted now?
I think he's sort of very neutral. I think
Is he
amongst Batman fans? I think a lot of people would say he's probably the best thing about the DC EU. Is it?
Yeah, whatever they call it. Because like I went into Batman vs Superman like really low expectations about him, and I've come out like he's actually pretty good. He's probably the best thing about the film.
Yeah.
But yeah. We have Steve Mack saying Altered States, directed by Ken Russell, starred William Hurt, who was in Metal Tank most of the movie. Wow, that sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. I think it's a late, early 80s movie. It's pretty good, from what I remember.
Oh, I'll have to have a look into that. Pete says, I regret not picking up the Arrow release of Caligula when I had the chance. Still want it in the collection.
I don't remember Arrow releasing that one. Must be an old one.
I think it had one of those box windows, I think.
Oh, the white box.
So
yeah.
Like one of the first ones then.
Yeah.
So that'll be like a stupidly high price online then?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Well, the only one I think the one I got was originally was the DVD one that had like multiple different cuts. The one that the actors agreed to comment on because that was what they, agreed to sign up to do, sort of thing. And the version that got put out eventually, and sort of an intermediate version, I think, which they showed on Channel 4 or something. Where they tried to take it back to the original idea by including some bits and cutting out others. I think at the moment, though, that was only on DVD. The only one I've got now fully up to date is the German Blu-ray Steelbook.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
That's interesting. Yeah. I'm definitely interested about the film. The more and more hearing about it, the more and more I'm intrigued. But yeah, definitely one to watch on my own. But yeah, if you got any more comments or questions, be sure to pop them in the comment section and we'll get to you real quick. Steve Max says, I sold my copy of Come Fly Will Be on Blu-ray for 70 quid.
Wow.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just going to say there was a DVD that I picked up this week that you can get the DVD in this country for about 15, 20 quid or something, but in the States, because they've stopped making it, even the DVD goes for something like $100, and Blu-ray goes for $300.
Really?
Yeah, that's an out of print anime title, and the trouble, of course, with anime is that Germany releases quite a lot, but Germany then goes ahead and only has German dubs and German subtitles, so it's not English friendly, which is very tricky for me, because I don't speak German.
Yeah, but like anime goes for silly prices, definitely.
Yeah, it does seem to be one of those things that stays very expensive. Like it's like the old days of VHS when they used to split seasons into different, season one, part one type of thing, and
yeah,
charge an
totally
awful
get
lot.
them. But they seem to always have like an evergreen price. They never seem to drop that much.
No, I totally agree. I think I've mentioned it on my channel that certainly with anime, one big thing you should always try lots and lots of different sources and stores about, because I have found, for example, one day that Amazon's, so for example, other stores are available, is selling something for 40 quid, and Davy will be selling it for 20. Yet the next title along, it'll be the opposite way round, where Zavi's selling it for 40 or 50 and Amazon's selling something for 20. So there just seems to be no constancy in pricing with Amazon, with anime across all the different shops, apart from the fact that it is generally expensive and, as you say, does not drop in price rapidly like you hope it would, especially if you tend to like watching anime like I do.
Yeah. Edward says, what's your thoughts on the new Lightyear trailer?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's certainly what made me want to go down to the cinema and watch it. I'll tell you that much. I suppose that's what the trailer's supposed to do, and it's done its job.
Yeah. I completely agree. It looks like a lot of fun. The little cat, the Robo Cat, won me over as well. I think that's supposed to be Taika Waititi, isn't it?
Is it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain he's supposed to be in the film, so I assume he plays the cat. I'm not sure, but it does look good. Can't wait. Like the music choice for the trailer, I thought that was perfect. What about you, Mike? What did you thought of the trailer?
Honestly, I've not seen anything for it, like any of the trailers. I don't really know what the film is. Is it meant to be like sort of based on the Buzz Lightyear character? Like, is it like a real person playing him or something? Yeah.
There was this sort of CGI, realistic CGI, isn't it? It's done.
Yeah, it seems to be taking like the story of Buzz Lightyear and following the real story of what happened. It seems to be like they're like stranded on this planet and they've got to rescue some people. That's what seems to be the main gist of the trailer so far, I think.
I think it's going to be like about a real person who inspired the Buzz Lightyear toy.
Yeah.
Like his name's Buzz Lightyear, because in the trailer he's obviously fighting something that looks like Zurg. In my opinion, it looked like a giant robot, but it kind of looked a bit like Zurg. So I'm really intrigued by it, and I do like Justin was saying, it's done its job. The trailer. I'll go and see it, when it comes out, because I'm intrigued by what I've seen.
They don't need to show anything more, to be fair.
No.
I think that's like the perfect trailer.
sorry, I do beg your pardon. But I was actually discussing this only earlier today or yesterday with someone saying, I do wish people would, or the companies would stop showing absolutely all the best bits of movies. So when you get to the cinema, you practically know the story before you get there. I don't. Yeah. I like the idea of the teasers that, let's say, this is what the movie's generally about, and please come and watch me. But we're not going to tell you everything that's going on. Whereas, quite often, or too often, in my opinion, the trailers nowadays, especially the ones near the release date, give away far too much about the movie.
Definitely. Mind you, they don't really have to show anything off of this film. They could just say Lightyear, and it would get hordes of people at the cinema.
True.
DVD from Filmboat says, you missed one of my earlier comments. Could have been worse. We could have been talking about Matthew Corbett's obsession with the word cock. The sooty hand up arse comment makes more sense. I think I remember I did say that comment.
Okay.
But Peter says, we had a customer in the record store where I am an intern come in and asked about Little Britain a while ago. I was able to dig it out for him from a pile of new used stuff, not yet price marked. Ooh, that's cool. But I think the whole Little Britain price increase has all died down now, and you can pick it up pretty cheap anywhere now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, Second Sight have worked with Warner's on the up-and-coming Hitcher release with the newly discovered footage. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be an essential release when that comes out.
Yeah.
Peter says, I need to pick up The Hunger as well. Yeah, that's a David Bowie film. I know Soph got me that for my birthday, and I'm looking forward to watching that. It's like a vampire film, but not really vampires.
That's one. Yeah, it's got Catherine Deneuve in it as well as right there. I think she's passing away, and because something is failing to sustain her, and David Bowie's out there as a lover trying to help, and they do an absolutely brilliant montage when they first go into the nightclub and are after victims with they're playing Bela Lugosi's Dead on the video in the background.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, but not one that, in my opinion, but not one that's is an easy watch. It's not something you'd necessarily expect. It's not your standard vampire movie, as you say.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't enjoy it as much as most people, but I do think it is a good film. What it is, it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I like it. I think it's probably more style than substance. It's a very, very nice looking film, very well directed, very, very slick direction. The story is probably not all there, but overall, I think it's a pretty decent film.
Oh, that's good.
I think I'd agree. Yeah, it is exceedingly slick, and it's very much a case of reliant on the style. And if you don't like the style, you won't like the movie.
Yeah.
But if you get involved into the emotions and the style and how amazing it comes across, then you will enjoy it. But if you're looking for a really deep plot or something that is going to keep on going, then no, it's quite a simple idea, but it is, I think, really well. If you're going to expand a really simple idea, then I think it does quite a good job.
Right. I know there was one Bowie film I watched before Christmas that I got on the Arrow, and that's Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Have you guys seen that?
No, for a long time.
I keep on meaning. I think I know I should watch it, but it's one I haven't ever seen.
Mm. I really enjoyed it. It's quite a brutal film at some times, with mostly implying
I
stuff,
hear.
but loved it. And the soundtrack is so haunting.
Yeah, because it's a Japanese prisoner of war film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's got a Beat Takeshi Kano in it as well. I think that's his name. Yep. Have you seen it, Mike?
I have, but not for a very long time. I can't really remember it very much, but it's one I'll have to rewatch.
Yeah. Steve Mack says Nicholas Rowe created the role for Bowie only for the Criterion edition. There was the Bowie commentary. Ooh, that's cool. Cam Russell is much misunderstood. He's virtually a forgotten cinematic maverick. There's still a lot of his movies not available on discs, surprisingly. That's quite interesting.
That's interesting.
DVD and Film Bloke says, I don't know if it'll get retracted. Comments still gets through to the stream because if they do, ignore my previous comment. Right. DVD and Film Bloke says, ironically, piss takes of Speed come up with better concepts than Speed 2. I mean, we were having Speed reading and Speed on a milk float.
There was that Father Ted episode called Speed Free as well. With the...
Yeah.
That was the milk float one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So funny. Gary North, has anyone seen the film Surveillance from 2008 starring Bill Pullman?
No.
I've never heard of it.
No.
Yeah, Justin?
I'm afraid not. No, I'm sorry, I can't add something to that one.
Dr. Impossible said Wild Geese 2 had Scott Glenn in the lead with Edward Fox. Pretty fun follow-up, but the DVD seems to be quite pricey and there's no UK Blu-ray release.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I've got I think I do have the Blu-ray, but I got it day one from America and it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
So as per usual, the UK doesn't have one. So
Yes.
But it's all the way that they have the different roles, and they think, and it was supposed to be, why doesn't that person move? Is it because he wasn't very well at the time? In actual fact, if you investigate all the details online, you'll find there's an awful lot of backstory about that film where it's actually very misleading what the rumours are about why certain characters did what they did or were supposed to have been more active in the film when in actual fact they weren't. So yeah, like I said, I still really enjoyed the film for what it was. I don't think I think what the big problem is that it was called Wild Geese 2. If it was called something else and it wasn't really related to the first one, like just based on the follow-up book or whatever, then I don't think it would get so much negativity. As a standalone thing, I think it works. But as people who watched Wild Geese and really enjoyed that, I don't think it's not as good a film, and it's not really a follow-up in the same way. They just uses a couple of the same characters, or in the case of the Richard Burton character, like I said, because he died, they had him sort of like his character replaced by his brother.
Yeah.
In the narrative.
Yeah. Peter says, I hated Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker. I thought he was all right. I think he's improved over time. I think looking back now, He's not as bad as what I first thought.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andy? Do you agree?
Yeah. I've always gravitated more to Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, same here.
With the Spider-Man movies, they're the movies I grew up on. They're the movies I enjoy the most. Yeah, that's all I can really say about it.
What about you, Justin?
I honestly think all the Spider-Man actors, I know this sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but I think all the Spider-Man actors have had something to add to the role very much.
Yeah.
I feel that some of the early Tobey Maguire and the first ones was very, very much captured the role for Peter Parker, and then weirdly enough, the later ones, when they changed actors, some of them seemed to capture the role as Spider-Man himself, rather than as Peter Parker, the student.
Yeah.
And since then, obviously, I think the more recent Marvel ones have tried to combine the two and done a reasonably good job of doing so. So there's a nice mix of he's not only good at being Peter Parker, he's also good at being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But like I said, I haven't seen No Way Home yet. And gosh, I'm
Yeah,
so looking
we're not going to say nothing about that film, so don't worry about
please don't.
that. Peter says, we'll probably avoid ever watching any film ever starring Andrew Garfield. Wow.
That sounds a bit hard.
That is a bit harsh because he's done some fantastic stuff.
I kind of think he's very underrated. Very much like sort of Robert Pattinson. He's done a lot of good stuff. That he doesn't get the recognition that he rightly deserves, especially recently because he's really quite good in that Tick Tick Boom, isn't he? He's the one.
Yeah.
He's nominated for the awards for that, isn't he?
Yeah. Tick Tick Boom's great.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to give that a go.
I hadn't particularly heard about until this evening, so I don't know why it sort of like slid under my radar. But thank you.
I think it's a Netflix film, isn't it, or something?
I will be tracking it down as soon as possible.
Yeah,
it is. It's at the forefront of it. It is a musical, but it is really good. It's a really good story. Andrew Garfield's absolutely great in it. There's a lot of other stuff he's been in as well that I do think he is absolutely fantastic in. Hacksaw Ridge, I think, is a superb war film. Silence is absolutely draining. One of Martin Scorsese's best. He is phenomenal in that film as well. Really underrated one as well. I don't know if anyone's seen it, called Under the Silver Lake.
No.
That's a pretty good movie. There's another one coming out, I think, this year called, I think it's got Jessica Chastain in it, but I can't remember what it's called. And that's also been up for the Oscars as well. I think Jessica Chastain's been nominated for that as well. I can't for the life of me remember what it's called.
Yeah, I can remember like one of his earlier roles. He was with Keira Knightley and Carey Mulligan. I think it was called Never Let Me Go. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, like, you don't have to start any sentence with "it's a musical, but it's still good." There's no need for a but. I really like musicals. I go to the despite the huge, ridiculous amount of money you have to pay out now. I quite often go to the theatre to watch the latest musicals. I've got about 3 or 4 coming up quite soon.
Oh, that's good, because I know
just went to see that everyone's talking about Jamie a couple of weeks ago. Really enjoyed it.
Because I know when you say musical, it can kind of sort of, you never know whether that's going to turn someone off or not. But it's just,
I know what you mean. I totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah.
I mean, some people just don't get it. Just so people don't look at it, and I do understand exactly why you're saying that.
Yeah.
But just saying that, no, I'm a big fan,
Yeah.
and I'm really looking forward to the fact that I hear that in the pipeline they are going to be doing a movie of Wicked, which is one of my favourite musicals of all time.
Yeah, they definitely are doing one. I've heard that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Oh,
cool.
well, that's all good then. Yeah.
Totally turns the original on its head. Wizard of Oz, and so like all of a sudden you see every totally different light. So beautifully done.
Cool. Tony says, I'd rather have Adam West as Batman.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yep. Dr. Impossible says, has Andy seen The Long Kiss Goodnight? A rather underrated Rennie Harlan film, but one film I always enjoyed with a unique concept. Isn't that the one with Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson?
I think it was Shane Black wrote it. Yeah, I have seen it. It's a bit too long in the tooth for me, but it is a good action film on the whole. Yeah.
Yeah. You seen it, Mike?
Yep. Probably the same as Andy. It's okay. It's not one of Rennie Harlan's best. I feel like he's a director who he kind of started off really well, and then he kind of drifted a little bit. Like he did like Die Hard 2 and Cliffhanger, which are pretty good films, but then he did like Cutthroat Island and The Long Kiss Goodnight, which are not as good, but it's still not a bad film.
Oh. Yeah, there's one on my watch list for a little while to get. But yeah, I've heard mixed things, but definitely a good bit of watch. What about you, Justin?
Sorry, Long Kiss Goodnight is one that I haven't seen, so I can't really make any sensible comment on it. You know, I'd rather say that, because I know so many questions are stacking up. Let's get through to the ones that I can actually answer.
DVD Film Bloke says, love Adam West. Yeah, Adam West is great.
I do.
Peter says, yeah, I've seen both a window box and a regular Arrow of it. Both old releases. We'll try and grab it. I see it for like 15 quid again, which was what I saw in Sweden when he's talking about Caligula. DVD Film Bloke says, imagine if a Gotham City police went to Liberty City. Tony says, I watched Batman Begins for the first time ever last night, and like Roger Moore's Bond, I miss the humour of Adam West.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think like Batman Begins is probably the one out of the Dark Knight trilogy that has grown to be the best, in my opinion. It seems to have improved with age.
Yeah.
I always see it as more of a Bruce Wayne film than a Batman film.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still good.
DVD and Film Bloke says, we need the tights and underpants on the outside. Niall says, what do you think about Screen Factory website? Don't ship to countries outside the US and Canada.
Yeah, it's
a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, a bit annoying.
They do make some nice additions, but I guess that's the thing.
Yeah, which is the big one though in the UK that has only just opened up a US outlet.
Might have been Arrow.
Arrow.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Yeah. Because there's Arrow US now. So the weird thing is that some things that Arrow does is it Legend that they've only released in the US.
Yeah.
I know I had to import that. It cost me a fortune. they finally worked out that so many people were buying their films even from the US, even at the import type prices, that it would be worth their while to pay out a lot of money to make sure they had a dedicated US distribution and sales site, despite the fact how much it's going to cost them to set up. So it's good to see that Arrow are getting, at least popular enough to get that respect again. Sort of like it's showing that physical media isn't necessarily falling by the wayside. At least in certain niche markets, people are willing to pay out, and they are. The market is there, which is good.
I know a lot of American YouTubers who always import their like Arrow films that like got huge collections of it. So there's definitely a demand for it.
Yeah,
that's good to see.
Yeah.
Peter says German and French releases also very often have the titles upside down on the spine. How can they get that part? How hard can it get that part to get right? Yeah, I can understand that. Some regional differences.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it's annoying, especially when you have like the spines all lined up and you've got that one drop one, and it's like, oh. But yeah, David says, have you seen the Sonic movie? Yes, a lot of fun. Jim Carrey's great. Can't wait for the sequel.
I echo that, Pete. Yeah.
Mike?
Nope, still haven't seen it. Need to get around to it.
What about you, Justin?
Not really into like gaming type stuff, so the movie didn't really grab me sort of like for going to go and see it. So I dare say I will eventually get around to watching it, because I do hear from various people it is pretty good, but no, haven't seen it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Dr. Impossible says Andy will agree Keaton was Batman.
Yeah. He's my favorite actor to play the role. Love him.
Yeah, Tony agrees. Yeah, we've just gone through that, David. Gary says I stay away from a lot of trailers. Definitely spoiled movies these days. Definitely Halloween Kills is a big one.
Yeah,
that just loves to spoil. DVD even from Bloke agrees.
I think Batman's one of those ones that seems to be very much a case of everybody has a very strong opinion on who. Most people, so I say, has a strong opinion on who was the best, and it's very hard once someone's decided. It's very hard to convince them otherwise.
Yeah.
It's very much like, I suppose you could say, like their favourite Doctor from Doctor Who. It's like people have their favourites, and I suppose it's like what you've been brought up with.
Yeah,
very much the case. Yeah. Yes, I was brought up with. Yeah, I was actually brought up with Pertwee. I mean, yes, I'm that old. Sorry, and it was only quite a few years afterwards, because my younger brother was much more of a Tom Baker type fan, and basically, being as he was my younger brother, I refused to agree with him on anything on principle. But it was years later that I actually did change my mind, and Tom Baker's still the best of now, isn't, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, it's interesting to hear all these stories about the fact that, at least in a short-term intermediate period, we might be getting Tennant back as the Doctor until they choose a new longer-term one, but not sort of like his original Doctor coming back in, but like some clever story scripting that means he's a new 14th Doctor or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's just something to try and gain the fans back, try and get some goodwill back in the community to get people to watch it.
Well, yeah, Chris Chibnall he was a walking disaster, and I said so before we even started. Sorry, I'm not a fan of that man. As a showrunner, he just did not understand the program before we came in, and he just wanted to be. In my opinion, he just wanted to stick his hand up and say, "Look, I was the first person to have a female doctor," and he didn't really understand or care about the program any further than that. And I'm sure I might get lots of hate. I don't know, but no, I think he, also the fact. I mean, which was his previous showrunner?
Broadchurch.
Broadchurch, with Jodie as well. But the fact that he, got on with her and just brought her with him into the show, rather than saying who's actually best for the part. I think it was a wrong move.
But I think now with like Russell, they seem to be at the moment, touch wood, they seem to be doing the right things. They're getting all the band back together, shall we say, with all the behind the scenes team. So hopefully it'll work and Doctor Who will be back to normal.
I am so hopeful. I've been watching since about the age of 7 now, so I really don't want to see it all peter out like it seems to have been doing recently.
Moving on. David says, have you watched Birds of Prey?
The Harley Quinn one, was it?
Yeah. What did you think of it, Andy?
It was okay. It was all right. It wasn't. Didn't hate it. Didn't love it. Just thought it was fine. Middle of the road. Yeah,
it was. I watched it. Was it last year? I quite enjoyed it. It was definitely hyped up, like really, like it was on caffeine. But it was a fun film. I do think Ewan McGregor was quite miscast a bit.
There's a scene in it. I won't say which scene in case anyone's not seen it, but there's a scene in it involving him, and it made me feel really, really uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable watching it. Like I was like, this is not right with what he was doing.
Been in the film. No,
it was really nasty and horrible, and I just didn't click with it at all.
I agree.
I'll be interested in watching that now, seeing whether I dare say it'll be quite obvious what scene it is when I start to see it. Because I actually haven't seen the movie, but I will go back and say I have actually seen the TV series from the 80s called Birds of Prey, which did actually only lasted one season and was practically the same thing with Catwoman and Harley Quinn and all that sort of thing. But nobody ever seems to have heard of it. So I've got that on DVD somewhere, and I did actually quite enjoy that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. You seen it, Mike? Birds of Prey?
No. I kind of fallen behind a bit with some of the DC films. There's still quite a few I need to see, but I'm not really in a rush.
Yeah. Dr. Impossible says, have you seen The Money Pit with Tom Hanks and Shelley Long? Yeah, I don't mind it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Good film.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I put a soundtrack over the top of it just for fun for one of my parties when I was able to, because I had a VHS machine that used to allow me to record soundtrack on 2 different channels. So I used to be able to make up, like some people make up mixtapes for parties. I used to actually do mixtapes over videos and stuff like that. And I used to a lot of that big house falling down bit in the film was I think I put this Martika's I Feel the Earth Move or something like that.
Yeah,
that was good.
Okay.
No, it's great. It's great. it's great fun, easy watch film. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Sam Han Gaming says, "Evening guys, hope you're well. Thanks for joining, mate," and he agrees with the money pit. David says, "What TV show should be made into the movie?" I would say I'd like to see another Doctor Who one, but what about you guys?
Kind of like to see another Simpsons movie.
Yeah, I do think that's quite underrated myself.
Yeah,
first
because
one.
I actually really don't mind that first one.
What about you, Mike?
I'd like to see maybe something like Dragon Ball Z turned into like a live action film. Certainly better than the last one we got, but I think the problem is there's so much content and so many stories and characters that I can't imagine they'd be able to pull it off. But yeah, that's something I'd like to see if they could do it right.
That's good. And what about you, Justin?
I think from everything I've heard, and I haven't yet been able to actually see any of the streamed episodes, whatever, but I think I would really like it if they could produce a good film adaptation of The Witcher.
Ooh, that's a good pick. Yeah.
I think Ray Lee would agree with me on that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. What I'm going to say is it's like 20 to 11, so we're going to get through these comments real quick and try and get finished for 11. What do you think, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever
yeah.
non-alcoholic.
Yeah, I know Andy's got to get up early for work in the morning, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm at 20 past 6 every day.
Get as far as the downstairs table in the morning because I'm working from home. Not too bad.
Yeah. Gary says Surveillance has a great twist ending. It's directed by David Lynch's daughter.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'll have a look out for that. Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says about Money Pit is a brutal laugh, especially with the house collapse, comedy gold, and yet the film bombed.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, I think it did, yeah.
Shocking, really?
I thought it was quite popular. Was he wrong?
Sam Han Gaming says The Money Pit and The Burbs are probably my favourite Tom Hanks films. Shelley Long is a great actress. Right.
Yeah.
Tony Tony Crosby says Life on Mars, Ashes to Ashes is a TV show, film. Yeah, that would be quite cool. I think they're doing another series of Life on Mars, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're filming season 3 or coming up to filming series 3 very shortly. Gary says Hacksaw Ridge is a great Andrew Garfield film. Isn't that a Mel Gibson directed film?
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
Edward says, what's your favourite Michelle Pfeiffer role or movie?
I'm going to say Batman Returns. I think she's phenomenal in that film. And
I was going to agree.
I love that film. Yeah.
Total crush on her, so I've got so many, but I think her bit in Fabulous Baker Boys, where she does the singing, which she does actually herself, walking across the top of the piano and this, that, and the other, absolutely amazing. And also, what's the one with? I think is it Mel Gibson? Yeah, Mel Gibson again, and he's a drug dealer trying to get out of the business.
Tequila Sunrise, is it?
Tequila Sunrise.
I really enjoyed her in that as well.
Yeah.
I know it's a much smaller part than sort of like the two main leads, but I thought she really came to the fore. I keep on meaning to get round to watching the Russia House as well. So isn't she there with Sean Connery?
Yeah.
But that's another one that I keep on thinking, must watch it, never get round to.
Wasn't she in The Witches of Eastwick?
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Yeah,
I thought so.
Love that film.
Right.
I was going to say Witches of Eastwick, but I was going to say Scarface as well.
Oh, yeah, she's in that as well, isn't she? Yeah. Good.
Batman Returns is phenomenal.
Still waiting to give it away.
Yeah.
Anybody answer the question?
Yeah. Dodder Impossible says the Burbs, man, Suburbia will never be the same again. Good stuff. Samhan Gaming says the entire cast of the Burbs was awesome. Great film. Lots of nostalgia right there.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely need to watch that. Isn't
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher in it?
It's really good.
Yeah.
There's another one that I don't know many people have seen it, and I saw it at the cinema when it came out. So yeah, that was surprisingly good, and I'm surprised it doesn't get more respect.
Yeah.
Isn't it a who done Gremlins directed it?
Joe Dante, yeah.
Yeah.
Dodder Impossible says Jerry Goldsmith did a great score to the film, playing around with his Oscar-winning score, patterned with the Bruce Dern's character. Cool.
Okay.
Tony Crosby says my favourite film and album of all time is Tommy the Movie.
Nice.
You can see by his picture, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Kermit Allen says love a musical too. Fiddler on the Roof, Singing in the Rain, The King and I, Little Shop of Horrors, and all the others.
Great choices, Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors is a film that has grown on me massively of late. Really did not like it at all the first time, but now I think it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've yet to watch it, but I've seen bits of it and it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, I recently watched Rocky Horror and I was never really going to watch it, but I watched it and really enjoyed it, surprisingly.
Yeah.
When you watch it, Pete, make sure you watch I think it's the director's cut, because there's two different cuts of the film. One has the director's cut has like I don't want to spoil it, but like a less happy ending, whereas the theatrical cut's got a happy ending. But the director's cut's the one to go with.
Oh, I will have to check that out. Thanks for the recommendation, Mike.
Love all those. I love The King and I think Yul Brynner's fantastic in it.
Yeah.
One musical I need to check out, and that's Sweeney Todd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you're a fan of the actual musical going to the theatre, by the way, just as a warning, my wife's a huge fan of Sweeney Todd when she saw it at the theatre. But the big opening number doesn't appear in the film, and she was really, really disappointed.
Okay.
So just as a warning to those who want to see the film, just want to see the musical going straight to film, then I hadn't actually seen it at the theatre, so it didn't particularly affect me. But yeah,
cool. Peter says Tom Hanks' sons, Colin Hanks, was good in Dexter season 6. Cool. Haven't seen Dexter though.
Brilliant series.
Yeah.
Must try to grab the new one that's just coming out at the moment. If they put it out, assuming they put it out eventually on physical.
Hopefully they do.
Yeah.
Peter says I picked up a whole bunch of Michelle Pfeiffer films I've yet to watch. Lady Hawk, Age of Innocence, and at least 5 more I haven't watched yet. That's cool.
Oh, cool. Don't forget Dangerous Liaisons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I only got reminded of that because I've just picked up, what was it, which is the young modern remake of it with Sarah Michelle Pfeiffer. Sarah Michelle Gellar, sorry.
Yeah.
As the schoolgirl like update to or remake or reimagining of Dangerous Liaison. I just picked that up this week actually, so yeah. Got to compare the two because I think, the original though, Glenn Close, Michelle Pfeiffer, John Malkovich. I mean, you can't really you're not gonna beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one with her in, I think it's called The Deep End of the Ocean, where her son gets kidnapped. It's actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Age of Innocence is really. I really like that film. It doesn't get talked about enough. I don't think.
I'm definitely going to have a look and see like what sort of films she's been in, but like obviously Batman and all the big ones she's known for. That's cool.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons I like doing these live streams because you get to learn about all different films you've never heard before.
100%. I'm even though I'm a big fan of hers, I'm already picking up on movies that I hadn't heard about or didn't know she was in. So I'll certainly be thinking about going further into adding to my collection.
Awesome. And this indicator that's opened up a US division. Oh, that's cool. Peter says, I could almost have figured out that from your avatar for Tony. Peter says, don't remember exactly what we sold him those Little Britain DVDs for, but it wasn't expensive. It was about the same price as a lot of the other DVDs of TV shows, I think. Pretty cool. DVD from Film Bloke says, Keaton is my favourite Batman, although I do love Adam West. I do think they're pretty much all good in their own ways. Wow.
Yeah.
Some of them, shall we say.
Yeah.
But yeah. Keaton is my favourite Batman. Yep. Totally great. DVD from Film Bloke says, John Pertwee is my second favourite Doctor behind Patrick Troughton. John Pertwee's gone up a heck of a lot on mine. Ever since watching like his first season, I just think it's brilliant. Definitely probably overtaken Tom Baker as my favourite like classic Doctor.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a common opinion. But like I said, I was brought up with him and I love his stuff. I mean, there are some really, really, really good serials of his that are out there. And of course, what's incredible is the fact that the people who did the restorations on the original stuff were, are experts in their field in the BBC, sound experts, image experts, whatever, and they're also all massive, massive fans of Doctor Who. So, they produced some of the best quality DVDs that have ever. It wasn't a case of, well, we're just going to put this VHS copy on a DVD and sell it. They just did an incredible job.
Yeah,
couldn't thank Steve Roberts enough.
Totally.
Yeah.
Tony says Christopher Reeve was Superman, and yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
And Margot Kidder was a great Lois Lane as well. Like she was perfectly cast. Like, you can't really get better than that film.
Yeah, I do agree so much. Gary says he's great in the film Pacific Heights, playing a strange character.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
love that film.
I need to check that out. Another one for the list.
There's no UK DVD of it. That's the only thing.
Really? No. Oh, yeah. Wow.
There's no physical of it. Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says Tom Baker for me. I first saw him in the 79 episode Nightmare of Eden. Haven't seen that one, I don't think. But I think I do remember the front cover of it.
I'm pretty sure that's on the latest Blu-ray set that's just been released.
Oh, that's cool.
I haven't rewatched it, and I've got the set, but I haven't opened it and watched it yet. But, yeah, I think Nightmare of Eden is one of the ones that has been released on Blu-ray. I mean, obviously the trouble is a lot of them were they're only recorded on videotape, so there isn't that much of an improvement in quality apart from minor color space improvement on the.
It's mostly just for the special features, I think, in the special editions. But
the fact that they, they put all the special features from the DVDs on, and they've added even more special features is quite impressive.
That's cool. That's cool. Tony says he was an avid fan of Doctor Who until they mucked up the origins, and I totally agree, but we're not going to go down that route because I'll be here till about 4 in the morning. And Koroshi says, oh my, the stream is still going, I see. Yeah. Welcome back, Cora, from the Antarctic. See any strange creatures recently? DVD Before Bloke says, I like it when they keep it vague during the 60s. I mean, the Time Lords weren't introduced until Patrick Troughton's last story. Yeah, that was really quite cool what they did there. Tony says, yeah, Pertwee was my doctor, and I will not watch it now until it is reconned. Yeah, I totally agree. Retconned, yeah.
They didn't even say, I think they didn't even say the name of the planet he was from or something until the Tom Baker story, The Time Warrior.
Yeah, I think it was quite later on there. Yeah, it was a little while.
Really, they really tried to keep things as limited as they could and open. So yeah, even though you did see his home planet in the final Troughton episodes, War Games, where he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he had to call in help.
Koroshi Ichi says, yes, a guy dressed up as Frankenstein monster who was supposed to be a kind of vegetable from space, I think. Note to self, what the actual fuck have I watched?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where the remake of the Thing from Outer Space, you think to yourself, that was something that should have been remade and was done 10,000% better.
Yeah. DVD Even Film Bloke says the Simpsons movie was the first film I saw at cinema when I was 7 years old. Looking back on it, I think I was too young to get most of the jokes.
Yeah,
that's one of the things with the Simpsons. But it's a great film. I think it's aged quite well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter says, I picked up the Colourful Cool 6 film DVD set with Russ Meyer's films. Anyone watch those? Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, Super Vixens, etc.?
I've seen Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. I do like that film. It's pretty good.
Never heard of any of them. What about you, Mike?
No, I've not seen them.
Have you, Justin?
Sadly, I haven't seen them, but I do actually have the best release version of Faster Pussycat. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I keep on meaning to put it in the player, but there never seems to be a convenient moment amongst the other 1,000 films I haven't seen.
Yeah. Pertwee is great, says DVD from Film Bloke. Totally agree. Peter says Michelle Pfeiffer is also in Scarface. Yeah. Dr. Impossible said, well, it could be worse. Could be Grease too. And Koroshi Ichi says, I liked Grease too. I liked Staying Alive. Sod it. Peter says, Wolf is definitely one of my favourite Michelle Pfeiffer films. One of the ones I've seen. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not too bad, yeah.
That's good. Koroshi Ichi says, I like most musicals, especially the MGM ones. I'm not too fussy. The Greatest Showman, though, is everything wrong with musicals in one movie. Well done.
I didn't mind The Greatest Showman. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, a lot of people... That was that big film of the year everybody was talking about. It was the most sold DVD, and the music was in the charts, but I've never seen it.
Oh, right. I really enjoyed it. Like I say, it was a musical, and I wasn't turned off by the word musical like so many people were. At the same time, it did attract a lot more people to the fact that musicals weren't always not their cup of tea type of thing.
Yeah.
What is quite interesting to watch is the fact that it was actually made on such a relatively low budget, relatively obviously, because you can watch it and you can see where they introduced certain things digitally either side of the main characters who don't appear like 20 seconds later. But unless you're looking for it, you don't notice because you're concentrating on singing or something. But all of a sudden, elephants disappear and things like that because they couldn't afford to actually put them in. It was only like a year later or a little bit later when it started to take off. They suddenly thought, "Hang on a minute, we've got a hit on our hands here."
Yeah. Samhan Gaming says What Lies Beneath was a decent watch.
Yeah, I enjoy that film. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one, but
That's
what
one
you
I
think?
couldn't get into.
Couldn't you get into it, Andy?
No, I just couldn't. It's got a great cast and a great director, but I just couldn't get into it.
Same here. Watched it, great cast. Just didn't click.
Yeah. Yeah.
Peter's picked up this one on 101 Films, and I have, and it's called Into the Night with Michelle Pfeiffer and Jeff Goldblum, which I haven't watched yet, nor have I, but it looks like a very interesting film. It's a John Landis film, if I remember correctly, and it has hordes of cameos of different artists.
Yeah. He's in it. John Landis is in it as well.
Yeah, I think so,
yeah. That's a film I couldn't get into.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's very similar to you. I've got it. Keep on meaning to watch it. Haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah.
How many
got
of us
Brett here
with our big Blu-ray collections?
Brett's here. Boo, did anyone jump? No. Oh, haha, hope you're well. Thanks for joining, Brett. I hope you're doing well, mate.
Brett.
Dr. Impossible said, never saw the Tim Burton film Sweeney Todd, but did see the BBC adaptation with Ray Winston, and it was terrific. Winston is Todd. Oh.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, I think I can remember it, but I haven't seen it in a long while. Peter's making me laugh. About £1 million at Playtendoguy still to this day has not seen Tommy. No. Congratulations, you've won £1 million, Peter. Tony says, after the recommendations on Mondo's stream last night, I've ordered Ricky O. Yeah, that's a lovely looking set that is. Jason did an unboxing for that on his channel, so definitely worth checking that video out. Really nice looking set. It's real cheap on HMV now, I think, isn't it? I think you said about it as well, Mike, didn't you?
Yeah, I got it for the same price, yeah.
$9.99?
I think it was 12. But yeah, still really
pretty
good price.
reasonable.
Yeah,
because it's like a box set with like booklet in as well.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Brett says Ricky O is a fun gore. It's like anime gore, but in live form.
Yeah.
That's cool. Peter says I got Sarah Michelle Gellar's Reimagining Cruel Intentions yet to watch it. Cool.
That's an alright film.
DVD for Phil Bloke says gotta love Ricky O. It's Mortal Kombat meets Looney Tunes.
That's a good way of putting it, yeah.
Wow, sign me up. That sounds like a lot of fun. Pete says, yes, Wolf is awesome. Definitely one of the best Jack Nicholson's films I've seen, but a lot of people seem not to like it.
Yeah, it's not really like your typical sort of werewolf movie. It's more of like almost like more of a drama film, but he's like he gets bitten by a werewolf, a wolf at the start of the film, and then you think it's going to follow like a sort of Wolfman kind of story, but it doesn't really go in that direction. So I think it's okay, but yeah.
It seems, if I recall correctly, it seems to be more of it's more that he believes he has more self-confidence because he believes that that's what the creature is becoming, more than necessarily the supernatural side. But yeah, I have seen it, and I remember really enjoying it. But it's really quite slow burner of a movie.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember James really liking James Spader in that movie. I thought he was
He's
probably
in it as well. Oh.
yeah. But it came out round about that time where in the early 90s where they were trying to sort of remake the old Universal classic monster movies. Like this was the remake of sort of Wolfman. They had Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, Kenneth Branagh did Frankenstein. There was just sort of like these really new creative remakes of these old Universal monster movies that were just sort of coming out.
Mm.
That was the Wolfman one.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Brett says, Andy, I think I'll ask you this because I think you might have seen it, but would you recommend getting the TV series Monsters?
Is this the Fred Gwynne one? I've not seen it in a very, very long time. I mean, back in the day when it was being rerun on BBC Two.
Is this the comedy one?
Yeah, I think it's the one Rob Zombie's going to sort of do a remake for.
Yeah, I've seen the Monsters. It's fun. It's like a cheesy sort of 60s sort of. It's 60s, isn't it?
It's very much sort of like the 60s Batman, but with monsters.
Yeah, and they did a movie as well, I think. I think the movie was in colour. The movie was in colour, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, always used to get. I remember that it very much used to get mixed up with the Addams Family, which was very much the same era and had the same sort of vibe to it. But basically, I think the Addams Family was ended up being regarded as the better of the two, which is why it's got a lot more fans and publicity.
Yeah.
You seen the Monsters, Mike?
I used to watch it when I was younger, but not for a long time.
Yeah. Brett says, me too. I had the DVD, but originally got it on pre-ordered and got the Grey 88 film edition. That's awesome. David Beach says, Doctor Who's 60th anniversary next year. And hopefully the rebirth of Doctor Who. The box set is the reason I never pre-order Run from HMV again, due to the sheer amount of problems I had getting it. Really? Brett says John Pertwee is perfect as Wurzel Gummidge. Love it. Also, Down Under Wurzel Gummidge series he did. I'll never watch the remake. I don't mind the remake. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's that sort of laid back sort of Sunday afternoon thing. It isn't as good as the original, but it's harmless, inoffensive fluff, shall I say. But the original's great. Tony says La La Land is the most overrated musical I've ever seen in my life.
I quite like La La Land.
I have it on DVD, but I'm really intrigued to watch it. It looks good. I mean, it's Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, so it should be pretty good. I've heard nothing but positive things, though.
It is a tad little bit overrated. I don't think I still think it's very good, but I don't think it's as good as some people are making it out to be. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do still really, really enjoy it. Yeah.
I know my wife. I know I got it from my wife, and she keeps on saying, "We do have La La Land, and you bought it for me. Why haven't we watched it yet?" And I keep on going, "I don't know. We just haven't got around to it."
Yeah. You seen it, Mike?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah.
Brett says, yeah, to me it was also 25 quid, but it's 15 quid now. Wish I waited. It's like, I like buying cheap, but I like Asian horror. DVD Film Bloke says, a lot of people find Wurzel Gummidge creepy. You haven't seen horror until you've seen the modern version. Yeah, it's an interesting take, the modern version of Wurzel. DVD and Film Bloke says, 25 quid was a cherry on top. HMV ran out of stock before its release date. Then 88 Films ran out of stock. Then 88 reissued it, so I cancelled my pre-order and got it from 88. Wow. During that time, I did spot it in store, so I have no idea why HMV Warehouse didn't get it. That sounds like a nightmare, man. Whoa.
Yeah.
Brett says, I really like the hard cardboard which the Ricky O has on the set. It's not cornflakes cardboard, yeah.
Yeah.
Peter says, not many copies left on Anaconda set on 88's page. Order of mine soon. Definitely. They're doing Species now, aren't they? Which kind of intrigues me. I don't mind that first film. I quite like that.
Same. Yeah.
The first film is my absolute go-to guilty pleasure, I must say. I've watched one or two of the other ones and was not very impressed. And the only reason I don't have the steelbook of the first one is because the cover they did for it was absolute pants. But obviously, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm still considering getting the Species box set just because it's Species and I absolutely adore it. If you only look at the first movie, to be honest, okay, it's total kitsch and silly stuff, but you've got some fantastic actors in there. You got Ben Kingsley. Is it Madsen?
Michael Madsen.
Yeah, and obviously
Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina.
Yeah, and the chap who played the last King of Scotland.
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. Forrest Whitaker, yeah.
These are all people at the top of their game. And, Natasha Henstridge's first film, so because it actually says in the credits, I think, so introducing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's good fun all the way throughout. It makes logical sense, and they don't. Yeah. Nobody's going to put it forward for Oscars or anything, but I think it's fantastic.
But it's a fun film with a great cast. CGI is a bit ropey now, but it's a good time.
Yeah, it probably is now. Haven't we watched it on the higher resolution now?
Brett says, thank you for recommending the Munsters, guys. That's okay.
Yeah.
DVD Film Bloke says, same here. I think 25 quid was way too high. Asking price should have been about the 10 to 15 pound mark. DVD Film Bloke says, Peter says, what box set? I think he means the Ricky O box set.
Okay.
Jules is now off to bed. Night, everyone. Take care. Night, Jules. Hope you feeling better now. Yeah, the Ricky O set. Dr. Impossible says, amazing stories for me. Spielberg series has done some duds. Also had some stunning episodes with Mummy, Daddy, and Go to the Head of the Class, directed by Zemeckis. Oh.
Okay.
Brett is not into the big musical fans, but if the beautiful Julie Garland and the beautiful Barbara Streisand is in it, I'm in. I love Oliver Grease, Kid Galahad, My Fair Lady, Amlaha, and the Night's Visitors. Oh, some of them I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Peter says, never watched a single Rob Zombie directed film so far. Not impressed or intrigued by the little I've seen from them. Because he done the Halloween reboot thing, didn't he? The two of them. And I've heard the second one is not a very nice film to watch.
No.
It's not good. It's just not a good film, remotely. There's no competency about it at all.
Yeah. Tony says, huge fan of Jesus Christ Superstar, but the one with John Legend is dire. Oh, is this the new singer, John Legend? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jill says, quick question for Pete, favourite Michelle Pfeiffer film? Well, Batman Returns or The Witches of Eastwick, I'd say. Because I think we did answer this earlier, but yeah. Brett says, I agree, I was nervous it would sell fast. Realistic prices, I think DVDs are 5 max, Blu-rays 10 max, 4Ks 15, limited edition sets 20, 25, and TV shows £15 max. Would be nice if you could get more 4Ks for 15 and Blu-rays for 10, but we do pay quite a fair bit in this country, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more here than in the States, which is annoying. Especially since they release the same disc here quite often, because they make with 4Ks especially. They it's all region, so all they do is they press it and just ship it off to different countries. So I don't see why that should be. It seems very unfair. But still, unfortunately, it is a case of 4Ks are such a niche market that they cannot produce, or it seems to me that they cannot produce enough that people will buy to mean that they can reduce the price because of economies of scale. Because obviously, if people were buying them in their millions or whatever, then they could go, "Oh right, we'll turn our factories over to doing that," and it would be cheaper they would be cheaper to produce. But
you go up to somebody in the street and say, "Would you buy a film for 25 quid?" They'll say, "No, I'd rather buy a film for 10 quid." That's the thing. It's that price bracket. If you can get that price bracket, that hurdle lower, so people can get into it, it'd be better. I mean, Blu-rays, I think people are definitely more accustomed to paying £15 now for a Blu-ray than they were like a few years ago. But 4K is going to take a little while.
Yeah, if really, because I mean, the sort of people, the sort of numbers that you need to start bringing down the price are the sort of I don't like to be insulting to anybody, but
it's gone. It must have been really insulting. Is he back? Justin, I can hear him. But yeah, he's gone. He must have had some technical issues there. But Luke says, hi guys, how's it going? Oh, he's back.
Sorry,
hey.
My phone suddenly dropped out. I don't know why.
Yeah, you were about to say something insulting. You were saying something about 4Ks?
No, it's just that I think it's until your everyday person in the street starts buying them, then you're not going to get enough people buying them to bring them down in price. And I think that your average person in the street, no disrespect intended, is the sort of person that's switching over to streaming, so they're able to get 4Ks that way, if you like.
Yeah, right. I'm going to get through these final few comments now because it's getting quite late. So we've got The Kingsman. Luke's seen that and he watched it on Disney Plus and he really enjoyed it. That's great to hear, Luke, and thanks for joining. Gary ordered the Phenomena 4K release from Arrow this month, which is cool, but the box sets seem very similar to like the Blu-ray special editions, which kind of seems a bit cheaping out. What do you think? Yeah?
Yeah.
David says, we did talk about that. Peter says, Species 2 is cool. Haven't watched 3 or 4 yet. Not expecting much, but the box set definitely will be getting it. Yeah, I'm interested. I don't know how much it is. Probably about 30 quid. Dr. Impossible says, end of the stream, time for a nightcap. Thanks for joining, mate. Always a pleasure. Luke says, I'm feeling like shit today. I've got a bloody cold today, so not feeling great. Sorry to hear that, Luke, and I hope you feel better soon, mate.
Feel better soon. Feel better soon.
Peter says, I don't really think Species is bad in any way except for some of the CGI. Not a guilty pleasure, just a very good first sci-fi thriller. Yeah, I do get that. Tony says, night chaps, going to watch The Dark Knight now to see if that's better. Hope you enjoy it, Tony. DVD from Film Bloke says, yeah, despite DVD being around for about 25 years, it will never die because it still sells Blu-ray. DVD sold out VHS in 2003, and the last film released on VHS was 2006. Yeah, it was about that era. Time. Brett says, if you like Jesus Christ Superstar, I would recommend listening to James Balsamo singing. I'm not going to pronounce that. Absolutely beautiful. That's cool. Bit of a 90s classic of Species, and I agree. Tony says, walk on, always believe. I will check that out on YouTube. And the final comment tonight is, thanks, guys. I hope so. Yeah, you take care, Luke. Yeah. And that is the end of the comments for tonight. And we have hit 3 hours and 41 minutes. And I know it's getting quite late now, so we're going to end off the stream tonight. DVD from Film Bloke saying good night. And yeah, thank you ever so much, everybody, for watching the stream. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks as always for Andy and Mike. And thanks for Justin for joining. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Much appreciated.
No problem whatsoever, mate. Join us all next week where we'll have Keith from Euphoria Pictures on. So see you all next week at 7:30 on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.